kind of got to know that that's just my signal. Like, I'm just out. Usually it's my phone dying. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. I didn't even mean to be in that. I didn't mean to. And then I was already committed.
You said, oh, no.
No, shit. I did, too. And they're like, what do you mean? I could tell it was some bullshit.
Yeah.
I knew better. Gotta start trusting that inner thoughts.
The first feeling, go with it.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, guys. I don't do battles. I don't like the battles very much. It's just a waste of my time, I guess. I mean,
On some other stuff, if they're interested in the real crazy shit we talk about, those videos I was watching about the dimensions and all that.
oh yeah.
About the how there's only 11 dimensions because
They-
you can't stack any more on top of that because it would implode on itself, and that the dimensions are actually the things that are holding the center of a black hole open.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for all the support. We're going to be, at least at bare minimum, we're going to be getting something together where everybody can go and get these documents and get this information.
There will be an app. I need somebody to help me put it into a computer.
But we will be making this stuff available to everyone. It's not just for people who are willing to pay us money. It's not that at all. We're not greedy, and we're not.
We've had a lot of people bite at my wife for that, and it's not what. It wasn't anything greedy at all. It was just to help us make up for the time that we had used.
And I agree that, if you're getting Remedy, then why do you need my money? But here's the thing. We're just now getting started, too. It's not like we've been rolling in this, this money. Because whenever I get to that point, I'll just give my time for free because, that's my mission. That's my purpose right now. So
when you get to that point, you'll have an NDA and you won't be able to. You have to pass the buck.
Well, then you would do it in private.
I'll have the app. They just go to the app.
Yeah. Yes, and we're trying to get it organized and get it to where we're not leading anybody down useless paths or the wrong way.
But we sat down and we had a conversation, and we decided that we would say if they felt like giving a donation, we would not, we wouldn't push it away. But she was like, if somebody comes to me and they need help and they don't have $1, I'm going to do it. And I'm like, well, yeah, you should. Should still give it away.
That's when they should definitely need the help. Like, that's the ones that really need it. Like, we all need it, don't get me wrong. See, I don't know if it's just the way that we're wording it, but the chat GBT, the AIs have really helped us. A lot of this process, I was pretty much on track anyways. I was right there, like I was right there.
It just really solidifies the ideas that we have, though. It's validation. It's about wording. You have to word it right.
Yes, because if you just say, how do I pay my bills for free or whatever, like, it's not going to do it. Or how do I pay my bills off my Social Security account or my... None of that's going to work. Like,
ask it to walk you through the steps of the remittance services from the USPS.
So I'm going to be holding a class. You can donate through Cash App or Chime, PayPal. I don't like PayPal, though, but if you got to, I get it. Or Apple Pay. But there's no set amount. If you can donate, please do. If not, like he said, get in contact with us. We'll still get you the information. We're not going to leave somebody hanging over some money some fucking Monopoly money.
If you don't want to say it on live or anything, or feel uncomfortable, just
direct message.
Yeah, hit us up.
Like, trust me, we've been there. We've lived out of cars. We've not even had cars to live out of, so we get it.
This is all like a dream. Like, we always wanted to manifest something like this, and like the Chevron deference too.
Yeah.
It's all just kind of coming to fruition now.
But, we've been hearing about this fifth dimension. Things are going to get better, new earth, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, for so long we were hearing about it and we're like, yeah, right.
But we're only in the fourth still. I don't believe we're in the fifth. We're moving and rising to the fifth, but the
We're
fourth is where you come get all your powers back.
transforming to the crystalline body from the
Yes, no Aquarius.
carbon body.
Yeah. Well, the monatomic body.
That's why everybody's been feeling that urge to cleanse, because you're going from that
What we heard
carbon to crystal.
today about the chakras,
What about?
about demons, how like the bad entities, how they attach to you. What they really do is they're attaching to your chakras. So what it does is pulls that energy in, and it just sits there and feeds on it. So, but if you take the frequencies like these crystal bowls or any kind of healing tune or whatever, you can get them away. But then you have to direct them towards the light. Like, what was that we were watching?
I don't know.
Oh, that was a good show.
How many do you guys think would be reasonable for a class? Because I don't want it to be too many. But at the same time, there's so many people needing the help.
I think 7 to 10. Maybe more.
Thank you. Thank you, Bonnie. Oh. You haven't been on in a couple days.
Look at the pictures.
Or I haven't.
You can show them the pictures that we printed.
So Miss Bonnie here, she was a postmaster at her post office.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are more welcome.
I haven't been on for a few days either. I was traveling.
We've been trying to, I mean, I've been on, but not much.
Been creating this app.
Been trying to figure this stuff out and really, because like I said, I was just throwing stuff at the wall to see what stuck. And kind of whenever you start going down that process, it's like, okay, what exactly did I do? Which I take good notes. I write.
The fact that you started reading the books the way you did, and the articles, and the publications.
Yeah, it's so unlike me. Well, not recently, though. We've got all of the stuff that I said we were going to get to fund the trust is on the way.
Did you get a trust set up?
Yeah, I've got a trust set up, and then I've got my trust EIN.
Well, we had to make that a
How did you
negotiation.
get your trust set up?
So I have a document, and then I am just going to go the route of trying to basically use my fingerprints and thumbprints, having arms and legs and all that good shit.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Instead of going through all these processes of like extra shit, like,
I'm pretty not with it.
I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Having arms and legs.
Yep.
And you're having the living person. And there was somebody in my live the other day, and they were like, yeah, the post office is the only thing on land.
The only land law.
Well, they're
Yeah.
the only thing considered to be on the land. Like everything else is out lost at sea.
Yeah.
Right.
Huh.
That jurisdiction that they're in.
Yeah, you can't touch them like this.
But yeah, I've got some packets. I guess I could, if people wanted, I could like just send out the packets to them.
Email them a PDF or something.
Yeah, but if they wanted to like have that, I don't know. Me personally, I like the paper copy. I like to have something physical. Even though I want the computer to read it to me, I need the physical copy for
Right.
notes and stuff.
Yeah. Always good to have a hard copy.
How are you, Willie?
Great, Grand Rising.
Yes. Almost morning time again.
Yes, I was listening to what you were just saying about the fingerprints and the feet prints. So, what I see in that process, when you use the notary, you're like going out to the public, right? So what you're saying is you're keeping yourself private by using yourself as your own notary, I guess, or making it,
Right. I see that. I mean, I didn't, but yeah, I totally see that.
right?
And you
Because
can
it's
get-
notary, public, right? It says it, right? Every time you go notary public, so it's actually stepping out to the public and putting your private information in the public and coming back in. You're going back and forth. So I guess the way you're doing it keeps you private.
Okay.
Huh.
And you can get people that you know to
Three witnesses.
be witnesses with their thumbprint and stuff. Yeah.
Private individuals, yes. If you get somebody, other private individuals that are trying to stay out in the away from the public, and they do that, yes, it's notarized. You know, just like a notary, the private individuals, they have a lot of power. I've been reading a lot, like I commented earlier. I'm going like on a year, but my mind's scattered. It goes from one process to another.
Mine too.
All of
Yes,
ours.
yes.
It's a thing. It's,
Part of it, I think.
I
'Cause I started.
this postal journey a while back when I started doing my SPC, the secure party creditor,
I did that.
and I got the postal box, and I would just write non-domestic on the land or whatever. I used to just write that, and then I found out no, you need more than that. Then do you guys ever hear of David Clarence?
No.
No? Oh, wow. He's like the master of this whole post office thing. He had, I got to give you all that, Starseed. I got to give you all the documents I have from him.
oh
He
yeah.
actually started that whole executive office movement, getting in contact with the postmaster that everybody speaks of. It's him. It's David Clarence. It's a PDF. You can find the PDF online. It's called Understanding the Executor's Office.
It's called what?
Understanding the Executor's Office.
Okay.
And in that document, he breaks down the whole entire postal service thing, the way it works and how it got its jurisdiction and back and forth, and how they masqueraded with the USPS and all that. It breaks all that down, and he actually has exhibits that go along with that document. The exhibits are pretty hard to find, but I have them all. I'll share them. Not a problem. And he does this. He does this. So I really thought you had all that, but it's great. That means if I can share that with you, it'll get you much closer, and you get a better understanding. So he breaks down that whole getting in contact with postmaster, making yourself private.
Yeah.
But what he doesn't talk about is the banking. That's one thing I didn't really read on his documents about banking.
Huh. Yeah, it's in the manual though. That's where I
Yeah,
found it.
I have that manual too, and I haven't gotten to it. I have so much information I haven't gotten to because it's too much sometimes. It really is.
Sorry, I just joined late. What is the manual so I can put it in the chat?
Grand Rising. It's the postal manual of 1952 on archive.gov. He was going.
One more time. What is that?
Oh, it's the postal manual of 1952. You can get that at archive.gov. Also, do we have any coders in here for computers?
There's new people. I need somebody to help me code this. I've got it written out and everything. I just need it to be put to the computer because ours is broken.
My son might be good at that. My son graduated from some high school that he's like a computer mechanic programmer.
If you wouldn't mind asking him, and
Yeah,
if you know what he's doing,
ask him.
I would like to send you the info.
He's real good in this. Real good when it comes to the computer stuff. Since a kid, I always had him into these electronics, the video games. He was hacking the Xbox 360s.
Well, he
and the
can be a big part of this app if he can do it.
He's learning with me too. I have him. I'm teaching him too as well.
All right, cool. We'll send you the info, man.
Definitely. I sent you a DM. If you send me the Cash App, or Cash App might be a problem with me because I've been having a problem with the account. But I could do the PayPal. I think she said, right?
Yeah.
I could do the PayPal. I know that with no problem. But for some reason, my Cash App is giving me problems. I've been having a lot of problems with these regular banking accounts. So I could use my PayPal for some reason, but a lot of the banking apps, I'm having a lot of issues. Personal,
We
I'll
we have
talk
the
to them
opposite
about
with
that.
PayPal. PayPal is not
I
going to give us.
I can attest to that. My bank hasn't let me allowed to add any transfers to my Cash App, to my Zelle, to any external accounts, basically.
Yeah, a lot of people's have been getting kicked back,
Ours all day.
but
Yeah, I believe
we'll
the
figure
banking.
something out.
I
And
believe
but
the
if you
banking
guys are going to
system
help us with the app, then
is already working.
we'll work something out. It's not. I
I've
hate
been
even
We're
feeling
not
like
worried
I'm.
about the money,
Yeah,
y'all. We're not worried about the money. If y'all want to donate, that's great. But it's not a big deal.
if we can get together as a collective and figure this whole thing out,
exactly.
we could just be if we could take this back to where how it began and do the bartering system, and we could actually negotiate and work with these instruments back and forth.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he found the
The way it's supposed
documents.
to be.
Did you print that
Which one?
about the negotiable instrument or
And how to
whatever?
create them? Yes, the
Yeah,
step by step how to create them.
Darcy, do you have a Telegram
I
group?
do have a Telegram.
If you send me the name through the DM, I'll send you those documents from David Clarence. It's quite a few.
I'm gonna go get my Telegram name real quick. I'm not leaving. Give me just a.
Do the code.
David Clarence is very, very popular when it comes to that whole post office executor movement and being in the private. And Bonnie, it's nice to meet you. I just followed you. It's very
Okay.
rare that I meet new people here because we've been going in the same groups, but I never met you before, so I just followed you.
Okay. I'll follow you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I've been on this journey since 2019.
Oh wow.
Just reading and digging. And I started with the state nationals and did all of that.
Yeah, I did that also. I ended up filing like 54 pages with the state, all having to do with status correction. I had maybe 19 documents authenticated on the county level. I've been doing a bunch of stuff. So my journey started from the family court system attacking me and destroying me.
Wow. Well, I haven't had any problems with any of that, but
So that's very rare. You're fortunate. Most of the people I meet in this journey got, started trying to fight some legal battle.
yeah, I wasn't fighting a legal battle. I just wanted to be free.
You just felt something was wrong.
Yeah. And I always knew that, there was not money, but credits out there, us, and they were trading us, making money off of us.
Only the chosen few will realize.
Well, it's up to us to make it better. It ain't gonna get better on its own.
Definitely isn't.
We have to do it.
I don't know why they kept it a secret for so long. It just bugs the shit out of me.
What?
We have to do God's work.
Howard,
Yeah, I know. But now we're gonna let it all out now, and
wouldn't you hold on to it as long as you could if you knew it was gonna be?
not if it was for everybody. If everybody was supposed to have it, no, I wouldn't. I don't know.
You were the one that was keeping it from them.
Well, I guess it started as greed for me because when I started smelting the gold, it was for gold to sell it and make money. But then we changed our business.
Yeah, I don't want to be caught up with material things anymore.
What's his name, Willie?
Yeah.
Hey, Willie, is there a certain way I need to have this file formatted to send to you for the coding?
Okay, like it depends how you're gonna send it.
I can send it through email, however.
If it's too large, it won't go through the email. But when it comes to the coding part, let's wait till my son. I'll probably get in contact with my son. You know, these kids don't wake up early, so I'll probably see him. He needs to move his car at around 8:30.
All right.
If you want, I can ask him.
I'll send it to you. That way you just have the documents, and then you can show him and ask him what to do, or because I don't know what to do. So.
All right, not a problem. You can send. If you want, I can send you. Well, in Telegram, if you look up Mike Willie B, Mike AKA Willie B, you can find me, or I can send it to you on the DM, so you could just send them over.
All right.
But I'll be with my son around 8:30. He needs to move his vehicle at around 8:30 for alternate side parking. I'm in New York, so we have to move our cars so they could clean the streets over here.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Terrible.
There's no parking in New York.
I wouldn't know what to do, y'all.
I'm from the sticks in Kentucky, man. I went to live in Maine one time, and on my way on the bus, we stopped in New York at Port Authority, and I went to go for a walk. I was going to go see New York, so I had a 4-hour layover. And I got to the edge of like the sidewalk. I looked around. I said, "Oh hell no, I'm gonna get lost." So I turned right back around.
I'm dying to get out of here. You have no idea. I'm trapped over here with the court system. Family court has me going to court every other month. It's been really bad for me. It's real bad for me. My ex just went crazy on me, and after 24 years together, and forget it, everything's been going real bad for me since 2020.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm going for this journey. But yeah, I've been dying to get out of here. You have no idea. I even bought a vehicle to travel, and I haven't been able to travel.
See, I've been going in. I've got issues with child support too. I had ended up doing some time, and then the whole time I was gone, they didn't stop my child support or freeze it or lower it or nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I paid $1,100 a month. So by the time I was out, I was already flagrant.
Been there. I've been there. I know.
But check it out. Last time we tried to pay this thing, they sent me back a remittance coupon for child support.
I'm waiting to see what happens with mine. I endorsed it. Let's see.
Yeah, we did the same. I need to look and see if it went through. What you said.
Mm-hmm.
They added about $30,000 of interest to mine.
Wow. That's highway robbery. That's not even right.
$30,000 of interest, and they go after, and then they send all these notices out to all your banks to freeze your account. All your accounts they get frozen for
Privacy of contract.
Yeah, the thing is, you got to start doing the work, right? You got to put these letters, and I'm doing so much documents every day, going after this person, that person, this thing. It's crazy.
Privacy of contract. How did you even enter that contract?
I didn't enter any contract, never signed anything.
Privacy of contract. You didn't enter it. They didn't give you notice. It's false. It's fraudulent.
The whole thing is, fight it. The only way you can really get away with fighting it is when you take this thing all the way to the Supreme Court and sue them.
No, you got to make them perform on their own words. Make them choke. Give them the rope to hang themselves on.
I started the administrative process, and it was funny. Yesterday I was putting my third notice together, adding a fee schedule to it, and it's about to go out today. After that.
But is your fee schedule on public notice? Once it becomes public notice for a certain amount of days, which is, I believe, 21 plus 3. Once it's been on record for 24 days, then it's law because you gave your public notice. So have you put your fee schedule on public notice?
I recorded it with the state maybe 8 months ago.
Okay. Oh, it's public notice. It's public notice.
Is that a publication?
No, just my fee schedule we're talking about recorded with the state.
Listen. Through the post office, you have to do a publication.
That's like putting it on the newspaper or something?
Basically,
I haven't been able to figure out what it was.
It's like putting it in front of everybody's face is what they want to do.
Yeah, that's what it is. A publication is putting it in the newspaper for at least a week.
Yes.
Another part disconnected.
I love talk. This is why I love live. I love it.
I like that.
Yeah, you put it on the newspaper for like a week. I think they say 3 to 5 days, but you put it on a week, you're good. Now you take
So
that publication, you can add it onto anything you need.
yeah,
Anything.
so they can't ignore that. They cannot ignore that no matter what.
I got a good one for you. Listen to this. I had someone, well, I know someone
Makes
that
sense.
He's writing it down.
put a publication about all the information on the birth certificate, meaning the date they issued, they created the document, the certificate of live birth, along with the date of the birth, with the location, the name, the weight, everything that you can see on that, even the numbers on the birth certificate. And then they put a publication on that, and then they put that publication onto a trademark, on the state trademark. They trademarked themselves and added that publication to the trademark. Now, this person actually ended up bringing the N Legis, the dead fiction, into life because of that.
Facts.
Yeah, that was good. But she's over here
So
cheating like she can't help it.
So now they can't contract at all with him because he's no longer a corporation.
Right.
or
he
he's
said-
in full capacity of executing that corporation.
Yes. So he says they can, any type of contract they throw at him just gets thrown out because he's no longer the legal fiction. Even he says driving, he goes to DMV. So he goes to DMV to renew anything, his license or registration, and it's automatically renewed. He figured that one out. He says the tickets, the camera tickets, the what is it, toll by mail, I guess it's called.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to, they don't send them to nothing. Because after he did that publication and he did the trademark, he sent that off to get authenticated on the state and federal level. So that put everybody in
But
there.
he did a trademark on his name,
Yes.
on the all caps name.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I've done that, sent all that stuff in to the UCC in New York, but I haven't received anything back yet. They said it could take up to 30 days.
But the thing is, on that trademark, what he did is add the publication. There's a small area when you do the trademark that it asks you for a description of what what's the use or how you use this trademark or whatever.
Right.
Added that publication to that document, and now his trademark came out with all that information on there. So not only he trademarked his name, but even the serial numbers and the numbers on the certificate of live birth are part of the trademark now.
See, that's public notice. They're all on notice. They should all know. And ignorance of the law is no excuse,
Right.
especially for public officials.
Yeah.
Specifically.
I just gave you a follow, Felix.
I'll follow you back, Willie. I was trying to get your. You said it earlier. You said Mike at Willie B.
It says Mike, aka Willie B.
Yeah, on Telegram. I looked you up and I couldn't find it.
Just like that, Mike, aka Willie B. You should find me. I don't think there's another person that uses that name because my name is really Mike, and Willie B is short for a business that I have. It's Williamsburg Bulldogs, so abbreviated. People used to always call me Willie B because they would abbreviate the business name. So that kind of stuck with me.
Okay.
I'll put it up on the chat.
I see T-Time's in here. I followed her. I followed you, Willie B. I followed 12_ Bonnie.
Okay. I followed you guys. I already following Tea Time.
But I'm here because of Starseed, honestly. She has some good information.
Yeah.
Yeah, she always has good information.
And it's a good environment to be around.
Oh, thanks.
I followed Free Time a long time ago.
How are ya?
Good. How are you?
Oh, going through some stuff. But, I was actually, this is a doozy for you. I was going to ask a question. I actually have been fighting with my management company for my rental for a while. We have a case on appeal right now. And the judge decided to hit us with a 24-hour eviction notice, totally and completely illegally, and denied all of our stays, denied our emergency injunction, and the sheriffs are supposed to come in the morning to evict us. I'm just wondering if there's anything else I could do, thinking outside the box, because technically they should have waited until the appeal, because I know once they come on appeal, we're going to win. We've already beat the case once before. We tried to come back again a second time, so I was trying to see if there's anything we could do to stop that from happening, or at least delay it. Told you it was a doozy.
Let me ponder that for a second.
I appreciate it.
It has to be 30 days.
A bill of
notice, doesn't it?
particulars, I don't know if that would work for an eviction, but it would stop them in their tracks if it was, I know for a civil matter. Well, for what state are you in?
Florida.
Okay.
Florida.
Ew.
Yeah. I know.
I feel like if you
Okay, I would
asked-
love to be in
if
Florida.
you-
I'm in California.
if you demanded them prove, and I know a lot of people are going in with the wrong way about demanding them prove their jurisdiction, but you don't ask. You have to say it in a specific way. I have it written up. I don't know if it would work for that though. I feel like it should though.
Interesting.
I've got a document saved on my computer. I actually used it for my husband's mom's boyfriend.
Oh, really?
Facing felony charges, and he submitted this letter to the judge. He sent it registered mail, and they were like, he went in for his next court date, and they're like, we're going to push this off for another couple weeks. And
Wow.
yeah, it definitely stops them in their tracks when done properly. They can't move forward
like,
until
you
they.
can learn all the rules. You can play by the rules, but sometimes they still just do whatever the hell they want, and it's so frustrating.
Well, that's a
Remember,
good thing of
court is-
having a record.
Look,
Yeah.
Right.
under normal circumstances, a landlord cannot evict a tenant within just 24 hours of notice in the state of Florida.
Even with a writ of possession signed by the judge.
Here are the general rules. So violations. I don't know what the issue was, but it says they still can't do that.
Really?
They're saying they have to give you a 3-day notice for a non-payment of rent, for violation of lease terms, a 7-day notice, termination without cause.
But the thing is, that's where it's a little convoluted, because they did all of that, but then they did it all wrong. So they accepted our funds while still trying to evict us. And so at the first hearing, they were like, well, what happened to the money? Did you apply it to the account? Well, no, but you cashed the check. Okay, cool. Case closed.
Why
So now
not
they
talk
tried to
about?
come back.
Why not
I'm
talk
sorry?
about the? Why not talk about the equity interest of the people living there?
That's a guess. In what way? What do you mean?
Well, they've been living there. They've been taking care of the property. They have equitable interest, don't they?
Who, me?
Well, whoever you're speaking of, I don't know if it's you or some.
Yeah, I live here.
Oh well, of you've been taking care of the property, obviously.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You have equitable interest. Do you not?
Yeah.
I mean,
Somebody else was saying that too.
do you not have equity? Invoke equity. Invoke equity.
And I've upgraded this place big time.
Oh well, there you go. You have receipts. You've took
Right.
care of the place. You've been there day in, day out. You have equitable interest. Who am I to tell you different?
Or would that stop the actual sheriff in the morning from kicking you out and changing the locks?
Just put the equitable interest on record.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Make a publication.
Yeah.
Publication on Facebook or something like. I mean, that's not officially on record,
You
but
can do it like
until you
classified
can.
on classifieds on Craigslist. That's a publication. Because it's classified.
You have equitable interest no matter what.
Yeah.
How about putting some type of UCC type of lien?
Is it-
Equity and UCC don't commingle. You can. For the people that don't understand that, for the judges and public officials that don't understand that, but you equity is settled in the private, from what I understand, and UCC is all public.
There's a non-UCC would be the private one, no?
Request mediation. Request mediation to negotiate a settlement with the landlord. Mediation can lead to a resolution that allows the tenant to remain in the property, such as setting up a payment plan, or file for a motion to dismiss, request a stay of eviction, gather evidence. So, yeah, I just went to ChatGPT.
Request a stay of eviction.
Yeah.
Hey, Moonchild's in here. I'll follow that guy. He's good. He's
Yeah, everyone's the one who stays inside them all.
You have to make it to a court, an equitable court that deals with equity. A lot of these state courts don't even want to deal with equity.
So would there be a way I could turn the sheriff away, though? Because the thing is, the opposing counsel's response for the appeal is due tomorrow, and that's why they're trying to hurry up and just rush this through real quick before, because once we get to that hearing, they're gonna lose. So they're just trying to speed it by real quick. So if I can just beat this, and I can just avoid get a little bit more time till the appeals court rules, because they wouldn't grant it technically an emergency because nobody died basically, but but they didn't dismiss. They would have just granted his motion to dismiss if it wasn't a valid claim. So I know that they're obviously thinking of something there, especially since we appealed the first case that we won because it was without prejudice, and we thought it should be with prejudice. And so after winning the first one, now we're back around the second time, and they know that without a valid 3-day notice with the valid amounts, that they can't get us out, because the first time they didn't even claim money for rent. They just wanted possession. So they never even actually alleged it or pled it.
You have to make them perform. You have to put them on notice that what they're doing is fraudulent, or if it's not fraudulent, you have to put them on notice that what they're doing is just wrong.
Yeah, we've
And make
filed
them
like
perform.
12 motions in the last week. They don't seem to care. I'm really wondering if they actually ever get any kind of, if they're even worried about appeals, if they're even worried about getting in trouble with anybody. They seem to just do whatever they want.
Well, they should be, because there's case law to back you up. It's not
Right.
you're not on your own.
Yeah. Well, oh my God, I cited so much case law. It's not even funny. The fact that he denied it was just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, give them the rope to hang themselves on. You go to
Yeah.
Appeliate, which is superior to their inferior court, and they'll send the judge in Appellate court will either send you back to that same judge, or they will overrule them. And you have a record of it.
Yeah. I just thought maybe there was something creative I could do to maybe sheriff's off, because everything I've read said that you can just give them, the pending litigation, and they're supposed to come back and wait for instructions of the court, but they don't seem to care. We even went to the sheriff's office to give them the paperwork, and they would not accept it. First they said, "Oh, this is the wrong form." I said, "Oh, is there a form?" They said, "No." Okay, everything I said, they were going to say the opposite, and it was like right when I walked in the door, they knew what they were doing, and that was it. There was like no questions to be asked.
Substance is greater than form. Doesn't matter what you put on a piece of paper. You expressed it. You have a record of it. Your substance is there. Your substantial rights are there. Versus their form, which is they're strictly saying, "Hey, this is the rigid way we want it. We want you to comply this way, rigidly."
But there is no way to comply. That's the point. I said, "Is there a form?" No, there's not an actual form.
There is no form. So
say whatever.
you have your substantial rights. You have a record of that. Make your way into a superior court.
Make a record that I was there trying to make a record of it.
But you have your own record.
Right. I just didn't know if that would be enough to stop the sheriff.
Did you
it's,
see
you
what I
know,
put in the comments? Motion of summary judgment to seek dismissal.
Oh wow, you're gonna freak out the judge with the summary judgment.
really?
Oh, he'll crap his pants
Why?
because you're getting ready to sum it all up. You say you know what? I want the summary judgment. I want to know what's the final, the capisci.
Because they wouldn't even rule on my stays because they knew that if they dismissed them, that we were going to appeal it and there was nothing they could do. So they for 2 weeks, they've just been sitting there and they won't even deny them or grant them.
Give them the rope. Let them hang themselves on that rope. There's a record of it.
Right.
Moonchild's requesting. Can we get Moonchild on here?
He was just up here.
Try to follow this.
Yeah, he was telling me we were at the courthouse earlier.
Good yawning. Remember I
Good yawning.
Yeah, I went to the
That's
courthouse.
awesome.
It was closed.
So the courthouse was closed when you went there today? Or did you not make it today?
And didn't take anything anyway. They told me that'd be ex parte communications, and like I can't even pick it up or give it to them anything.
You're kind of cutting in and out, so I couldn't really hear. I was gonna say you could do the summary
crazy.
judgment and then
Progress is
attach
Sir.
attach an affidavit to it. And what I would do is I would draft your affidavit to include what Felix was saying with the equity that you put into the home or the place. We'll just call it the place because I don't know if it's your mortgage, if you're renting. I don't know what it is, but when you draft up your affidavit, you could just put your equity into it.
Yeah, put your equity on notice. You have to. They're trying to go over your head. They're dismissing you. You put them on notice.
It took me about,
Right.
I would say, a good in total, because I kind of jumped in and out of it to finish it, but I drafted up an affidavit within 2-3 hours. In total, it probably took me 5 because I was doing, researching specific statutes for my state to use, as in statutes or case law or case citations, which actually help in
Sorry,
court.
Moonchild. Sorry to cut you off, but statutes, we're going back into their jurisdiction. We go by equity, and we should
No,
always.
What I'm saying is when you draft an affidavit, they want to hear citations. They want to hear citations that show proof or that give you more bang for your buck, I guess you could say, because you're quoting. It's no different than what a lawyer does when they're arguing their case in trial. They'll use a specific citation, like a Supreme Court citation or a citation in the courts of your state, because those are precedents. Even though you don't want to go into statutes and give them jurisdiction with certain things, you still want to set precedents, because precedents means everything. They cannot argue over precedents. So that's just my thought process.
Moonchild, but speaking of presidents, before presidents, isn't there standing and status?
Status, standing, and position is different. If she hasn't done anything for that, then that's really not going to help.
Well, didn't the Indians, when they got their territory taken, didn't have no standing, status, and position?
Well, technically, they had all the status, standing, and position, but it was overthrown. with all the acts, treaties, and addresses that were enacted prior or during that time frame. You see what I'm
But
saying?
didn't they still have rights to address their grievances?
So with history, that's a little hard to say though, bro, because so with the Trading with the Enemy Act, they gave them the illusion of that. So, I mean, you've heard, I'm sure there's a few cases you could probably cite where it shows certain tribes coming into the courts like, hey, we own this land or this land is ours, but you know, in the end, the only outcome for that was they gave them what? Reservations.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? And that was
Confined them to a
essentially the
small little
government
area.
or the
They almost imprisoned them.
yeah, essentially all they did was like, oh yeah, you guys are right, you guys had this, but it's ours now, so we'll be nice to you and give you this form of land. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a little bit different. I mean, I'm not trying to like say you're wrong. You're right in what you were saying, but what I'm saying is when you draft an affidavit, you kind of got to have something to back up with what you're trying to say, and everything that you put in an affidavit must be true and correct no matter what. So when you use like a case law citation, they can't rebut, because if that was a favorable outcome for the winner, whoever won, if it was a favorable outcome on their end, then it works. You see what I'm saying? But
I agree. But my question to that would be, why not use the 10 we got 10 commandments, we got 10 Bill of Rights, and 20 equity maxims. Why would we go into court into their territory and start claiming these codes and statutes?
You're talking about 2020 vision, but I mean, how many judges do you think are gonna sit there and listen to that though? Is the question.
But
Not all
why
judges.
not make them comply and try to acquiesce to that?
Yeah, but at
Why
the
go
same
into their
time,
territory?
at the same time though, she ain't got time for all that, because they gave her 24 hours. You see what I'm saying?
I see that. We don't have much time. I agree to that. We don't have much time, especially if we haven't been student of this equity or whatever.
Well, like,
I
so
agree.
if she would have had more time, then she could have just took it to court and then started addressing the equity or asking for exclusive equity, and then, like I said, an affidavit explaining on how much equity she's put into the domain, we'll just say, which is her house. Then it could have went a better thing. But see, we were talking earlier in my group, and she was saying that she's already in an appeals, and they're just sitting on it because the appellate courts are taking
you're saying
forever.
to perfect the title from the beginning, as soon as you move in.
I mean, you can. And that's a good way to do it, but like, I mean, I don't know. I haven't had a chance to talk to Tea Time long enough to find out what it all is.
The
I was at
interesting
work
thing
today.
is this is with Progress Residential, who owns like everything, First Key Homes, Invitation Homes, all of them, and they're owned by Pretium, which is owned by BlackRock. So they're at almost 100,000 homes at this point, and they're giving sellers $30,000 to $40,000 above their asking price. So they're trying to buy up everything right now. And what they're doing is they're getting people in, and then they're falsely evicting them and getting first-class security all over again. And so there was really a group that formed called Victims of Progress Residential, where they're doing this to everybody. And so when we saw what they were doing with us, we were like, okay, well, this is like really happening to a lot of people, and might as well take it all the way up. And that's what we did. So now it's literally been we've been in litigation with this for over a year and a half, and the other side can't answer. They cannot come back at us with anything. So they're just trying to do any kind of slick thing that they can do to try to just squeak it on by, even though it's up on appeal. And his
response is due tomorrow, but this is the second extension he got. So the judge said no more extensions. Tomorrow's it, and so that's why they're trying to week before trying to pull this now 24-hour notice. So it's been an interesting ride.
So my question would be, is that, are you renting or did you buy?
Renting.
So here's the problem with that. You have to read your lease. Because even though they're doing all that shit, you got to read the fine print of your lease. And you got to remember that your lease is a contract.
But according to this contract, they didn't disclose all the things about rescission, from what I understand, that I've been told anyways, that they didn't disclose everything that they needed to disclose, and that they're making way more money off the back end anyways. So they're not really...
But see, that's the problem is that you can't go into a court talking about the money they're making on the back end. You have to prove it.
Right.
Because public and private don't mix.
Well,
So
I looked it up into, the SEC, and I just looked at all the securities and all the different LLCs that they're going under, and apparently they sold the house when it was already levied. And so Elvis, I was speaking to, I don't know if he's a reputable source or not, but he was telling me that because they sold the house when it was already levied, that the title company would basically owe me money. I'm not really sure how that works.
Joshua?
Yes.
I've heard some things about mortgages.
I haven't heard of that guy help anyone.
Oh, really? That's good to know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna speak too much on that.
Okay. Enough said.
I heard he had a little spat with White State and Sean last night. So
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't know.
Sorry,
I don't know
missed
what's
that
going
one.
on with him. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
missed
missed
that
it.
one.
Like I jumped in there at the last end of it where he had got kicked out already. But
I had to
anyway,
kick him out of my live the
I
other
wouldn't.
day.
I wouldn't trust him. I haven't heard anything of him helping anybody out, and that's just where I'm gonna keep it right there. I haven't heard any person come out and say, "Oh yeah,
And you
he
would think
helped
you'd
me
hear
out."
one. Right.
Let me tell you something. I could speak because I heard listen to all his tricks. He talks all the good stuff. He refers you to some type of firm that's a private firm.
Yep, that's what he did with me.
They're scam artists.
Really?
Scam artists. When I
He
received
wrote me a
Yeah,
bunch
he
of
just-
motions that it didn't even look at my docket. I'm like, I already filed all of that.
scammer, he's a scammer.
I spent $650.
I went to jail after using his paperwork. I tell everybody right now.
Really? That's interesting. I'm so glad you just told me that.
Yeah.
Doesn't change from the
There's a
fact
reason
T-Time.
I was
Doesn't
told
change
to
from the
come on this
fact
live.
T-Time. It doesn't change from the fact that you're still owed that money and that property.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying an affidavit is drafted under penalties of perjury. So everything you put in the affidavit, you say is true and correct. So when you do that, you don't even have to use citations. Like Felix was saying, you don't even have to use citations. You could just use when you guys moved in, the arrangement, the lack of disclosure in the contract, i.e. lease, and then how much
The lack of
equity you put.
emphasis on the lack of disclosure.
Exactly, and then
all parties have to benefit from a contract.
exactly,
Right,
and then
consideration.
all the equity that you put in over the time of living there. That's gonna get you a lot of hella far, because once you put equity into something, the courts can't just railroad you after that, because now you put financial equity into the place that you're staying or whatever it is that you're staying. Even if you have a contract in it, you're putting your hard-earned cash or money into that, and it's creating equity. So since it creates equity, they have to give you equity. He who wants equity must do equity.
Must do
You've done
equity, yes. Equity is in
You've done
personam.
equity.
Equity is done
You've
in
done
personam.
equity. Exactly, and you've done a bunch of equity, so therefore
Yeah.
they can't. And you can even like copy your receipts to that. Like if you have all that, like you just photocopy everything that you have, or bill statements that show that you've put money into the house. And but here's the thing, because you're limited on time, the only thing I can really say is that when if they come in the morning, which I don't really think that they're going to come in the morning, but if they do, because I don't know,
I don't
Florida's
know if they
crazy.
usually come like right on the 24-hour mark and they, do that, or if they try to give you more leeway because they don't want the issue. But
What time did you message my group? It was like what,
probably around
noon?
8 o'clock,
So
half an hour after I got the notice on my door.
it was like 8 in the morning.
7:30. Yep.
Okay.
How long have you been living there?
3 years.
You have equitable interest on the deposit of your lease alone.
Right.
Alone. Ask them to provide you the information on the escrow account and see how much interest they have accumulated, because it's yours.
And what I
Well, you
request
can also ask.
the audit by GAAP with all the balances and positive from the comments.
I didn't hear that.
Would I request an audit? Somebody wrote in the comments that I should request an audit from the GAAP, all balanced in the negative or in the positive.
Yeah, the gap.
If
I
I
mean,
file
fuck
bankruptcy though, would I stop it by the morning?
Oh,
No, I don't know about that.
Right. And then what is their procedure if you're not home? They just change the locks, or if you're trying to be home and not let them in? I don't even know what the procedure I would do for that is. Just let them take everything.
Well, the only thing that they're gonna do is tell you that you have to start moving. That's it.
Oh, really?
And then they'll give you a specific amount of time to grab your belongings, and then you would have to negotiate with them, like, well, look, I've been living here for 3 years, so it's not gonna be just me grabbing my belongings. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know how rude the sheriffs are out there. I don't know how it works out there.
That
They can
none
be
of that matters. None of that matters. It's get a record.
dicks.
Get a record going.
They could be dicks. They could be dicks and just start throwing shit into the front yard and be like,
And
"Well,
they
you gotta
can be,
figure
but
it
they'll
out."
be held liable. They'll be held liable for all that they
You
do on
could
record.
film everything if they do show up and be like, "Look, I have equitable interest in this house. I've been in litigation for a year or two on this whole property or the property management. It is currently in appeal. If you kick me out, you will be held liable, and then
Irreparable
whatever
harm.
happens after that." Yeah, whatever happens after that, you just make sure you tell them, I will hold you personally liable. Whoever touches anything in my house, I'll hold you personally liable.
And you have to
And
make
most,
sure you get their badges and names on record.
yeah,
There has to be
names
a
and badge
record.
numbers, and film everything. Don't let nothing not be filmed, because what you're doing there is you're doing what Felix is saying, and by creating the record, and then when you take it to the appeals court, you're like, look, I need reparations, or I need to be paid for you guys dropping the ball.
Right. I appreciate everybody's input.
Someone said Derek Gonzalez has a good class on that on Facebook, and I agree. I was just with him on live on Cool Fox's TikTok. He just went live. Cool Fox went TikTok earlier, and Derek was on there.
Yeah,
So,
Derek
all
Gonzalez
that.
would be a good person to check. Do not go back to Elvis, please.
I have a
Yeah,
follower who has.
Elvis guys. If you guys, I'll put it. There's two guys. There's two people in the comments asking. Elvis Yeshua. Elvis Yeshua is the scam artist.
I have a follower who's got a process on mortgages where every time, like, if you You're on your mortgage.
Iman is asking the UCC
You take
ones
out
if
the
CTs
loan.
are affected. I'm sorry guys, but when you mix UCC, which is public statutes, with private, like Moonchild said, private administration, private, just anything private, private and public, you got to understand how you're balancing these ledgers. Okay, you got to balance these ledgers.
Yeah, but
They
a
don't
non
commingle.
UCC is private though. A non UCC is private though.
No, she's asking about the UCC one. So it's
Yeah, I get it. But
still public.
if they did a non UCC, that's private. That they can't do nothing about that.
I've
And
never heard. I've
essentially,
never heard of that. This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
What, the non UCC?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know. I wasn't too sure about the non UCC at first either. But then I did some research, and then I also had heard stuff like when you're in the private, non UCC is the best thing to do because it's a private UCC. So it's essentially like a UCC. I'm sure Willie B, when he jumps back in, he could touch in on that, but it's essentially like a UCC one, but in the private. Willie,
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier.
yeah. So how does it act? So it's essentially like a UCC one, but a private UCC one, right?
Yeah, that's a non-UCC. That's what it's. That's for
Yeah.
private.
So exactly. So it's a UCC one, but a private UCC one.
That's what you would use if you were using in the private.
Exactly.
If you wanna invoke your equitable interest.
And you can make you can make that management company your debtors. So you get tea time. You get the if you did a non UCC, what you would do is you would list the management company as your debtor, and then you're the secured party. Right, Willie?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, exactly. And another thing, you could have just filed a 1099-A on them, as you the lender, them the borrower, and then.
Somebody told me to do a B on them, like
And
immediately.
no, you file the B. The B is for you. The B is for you to
Yeah, the B's
borrow
for
on
you.
your credits.
Right.
But you once
Yeah.
you put now, what you're gonna do with that is create an audit, because if they didn't document their stuff, like your lease correctly and all that, and they just collected your money without actually putting it in an escrow and paying taxes on it, they're fucked. Because now you're putting them on notice, and the IRS is gonna have to make them pay for that.
Correct. And also with what my friend was saying in my group earlier, is when they filed that fucking when they went to the courts to file that affidavit or whatever, the false filing for them to go send you an eviction notice, that's a false filing because they didn't express that it was in appellate court. They didn't express that there was a court proceeding going on. And if there's a court proceeding going on, they're not supposed to be able to evict you.
Right. That's why I even filed a notice of related cases. Like judicial notice of, well, not judicial notice, but basically filed everything.
So I want to tie this in. I want to tie this in because there's in the chat they're saying, we got this guy saying she wants why do I have to pay out every month then, or anytime something's addressed to me? But he was addressing this guy who said he was saying everything is prepaid, which everything is. Once you signed your name, your credit, that was your whole private credit, from what I know.
Correct.
And when they send you a bill at the end of each month, which is not a true bill, it's just a statement of prepaid interest that's already owed to you, you could just address that and send that back and fill out that coupon and send it back and have your whatever your
Payable to
like
debt
bill.
to the holder.
Yeah, you just endorse the coupon and then you can either send it back or you take it to the bank and they'll put the money in it and then they'll take the money out of it basically. There's
Tony,
many
Tom.
ways to do the bills. The bills is just short for bill of exchange. That's all a bill statement is a bill of exchange. So this is where our private banking comes into play because we're all private bankers. We just don't know it. And since we don't know it, we don't know how to administer these things that are sent to us. So for that person who was saying, "How do I have to pay everything?" when it's addressed to me, it's because you don't know how to do it. So when you look at responsibility, if you just turn responsibility around, the word responsibility around, you break it around and turn it around, all it is the ability to respond. And since we're not taught how to respond to these things that are sent to us in our all caps name, we're technically acquiesced into the debt, and then therefore we're liable for the debt. This is why they give you a first notice, a second notice, and then a third notice. And after the third notice, if you don't respond, they assume the debt is true and correct.
Unless you submit an affidavit of a form.
Exactly.
But there was never any law, there was any consideration on their part. So you could try to go after their accounts payable, accounts receivable, right, Moonchild?
Well, you can, but that would involve litigation, and this is the problem. That would involve litigation. If you're not an attorney in fact, meaning you're your own attorney, you have a power of attorney in place, and you can do litigation without having a bar card, they're not gonna look at you like you're competent. They're gonna be like, nope, you need to go get a lawyer, right? Automatically, no matter what, because you don't have proper things in place. You're still operating in the office of person, and if you're still operating in the office of person, you're an enemy, belligerent, combatant, and rebel.
And can you go in the record and state that before you go up against them and be like, hey, I come with clean hands, a baptized heart. I'm not a belligerent, non-combatant. I'm not a neutral. I'm not a friends with them.
You can say that. You can say it in the court of record, but I mean, if you don't have a power of attorney in place filed with the county that you live in, they're not going to look at you with shit.
So we need that standing, status, and position.
Well, yeah, you need that status, standing, and position because, all right, so look, check this out. So we are not U.S. citizens. We all know that, right?
Right.
Right.
Okay, so what is your status? If you're not a U.S. citizen, what are you?
Well, I'm a private American.
Okay, granted, that's a good answer, but no, you're a non-citizen national. You're a non-citizen national. Why? Because if you do not live in the District of Columbia, you are foreign to the United States because the United States is defined as the 10-mile square District of Columbia. Therefore, meaning if you do not live within the 10-mile square District of Columbia, you are a foreign to the United States. So you're a non-citizen national because a national is it ties into naturalization. Naturalization is how you get into your republic land, onto the republic land, because all of our states, even though they're under this democratic blanket that's laid over the nation, that was due to the Buck Act and a few other acts that were put in place. You're definitely in this federal territory if you don't correct your shit. So when you're in the federal territory and you claim yourself and you claim on your documents like IRS documents and stuff like that, or you go get a license or you go get other stuff, those things require you to be a U.S. citizen. And so then what you do when you do those things, when you do those things is you contracted with your state of, which is your corporate state, and now you're part of the federal corporation, which is back to the United States, which is back in the 10-mile square. So you have to correct your status by making yourself an American or American national or a non-citizen national. Once you do that, then you have to go set yourself up, because they gave you an all caps name, i.e. a straw man. An ens legis is the proper term for it. That proper term is a corporate fiction created so you can do business and commerce, because this whole thing is in commerce.
I agree. It's all fictitious. Tea time. You have court tomorrow?
I don't have court, but we're supposedly getting evicted at 7:30 in the morning because we got a 24-hour notice this morning.
Sorry, it's because I just read that in the comments because I do have court tomorrow. Eman is asking, but I have court tomorrow, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have court tomorrow, and yeah, I'm just here soaking up game. I'm looking to represent tomorrow. I'm gonna stand on my own 2 feet, challenge jurisdiction, challenge the standing.
What have you already submitted?
I haven't submitted it. I've tried. I've tried paying off the fines with United States Postal Service money order, which I don't know if you've read that, if you've had one recently, but on the note itself it says I got a $50 USPS money order, and it, on the note itself it says negotiable.
Backed by gold.
And it says gold. Negotiable. It says negotiable on the instrument. But it
is backed by gold.
And of course it is backed by gold. It's probably the only form of lawful money left.
Stamps.
In the U.S.
Yep.
Stamps
besides stamps, silver dollars, and gold certificates.
You sent that in and they accepted it?
No, they didn't accept it, which should make me not liable anymore. It should make it discharged.
I have the documents on how to properly create a negotiable instrument. Like,
well, even them not accepting my negotiable instrument makes the whole thing go away under banking and banking instructions.
It does.
I mean, isn't the way to do it is between two people coming to an agreement on what goods are going to be exchanged or however that is?
No, so in banking, if you give them a negotiable instrument, or if you give them anything to pay the debt and they refuse it, the debt is now canceled. That's UCC something.
Or discharged. It's considered discharged.
Yeah, discharged.
Now you have to enforce it, though. That's everything comes down to enforcement. If you don't know how to enforce it,
like UCC what?
You stay in limbo with it.
I can't look it up because I'm not near my computer. I just got home from work, but
yeah,
you seem pretty knowledgeable when it comes to equity. So when you can go into these courts as a man, that's it. You're a man, and you don't know
special appearance,
nothing of this legalese that they speak of, and you just stick on that. Just stick on that, because once you start trying to go anywhere else, now they're pulling you back into the jurisdiction. But you seem to have a knowledge on the equity part. So if I were you, that's what I would stick with.
Of course. And they will always try to drag you back into their jurisdiction. The judge will always offer you, because they'll say, hey, sit down right now. And what you got to tell them is, hey, do you want me to sit down? Because that's a contract in itself. They're telling you to sit down, and you can either honorably or dishonorably accept.
Is that an order? Is that an order?
Yeah, exactly. That's how you got to respond. Do you want me to sit down, or are you ordering me to sit down? You have to ask the questions.
Order me so I can send you a bill later.
Exactly.
Yeah, you always want an invoice. But
I'm preparing an invoice right now.
Again, I cannot express this enough. If you haven't read the document, you need to read it. But if you're in the office of person, you can do all that stuff you do in court, and then if you're still in that office, you're just talking shit. You're still an enemy, belligerent, combatant, and rebel due to the Trading with the Enemy Act.
Real quick, Star Seed, you said make sure y'all join my team, please. I would appreciate it. How do we join the team?
What was that?
Starseed, I seen your comment. I said, make sure y'all join my team, please. I would appreciate it. How do we join the team?
You hit the heart up top.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you actually get a link to my Discord too, where I upload all the documents.
Okay.
So y'all know how like whenever you're paying your mortgage and stuff like that, and like they'll change banks, like the company that you're like they'll change banks. That makes sense. No.
Yeah, they're just doing more securities on your mortgage.
Right, right. So how do you assert that? Like how would you go? Yeah, how do you assert that?
Everything that has your name on it has your equitable interest. And by them creating all these notes and not giving you notice to it, they didn't not once give you notice. You're entitled to all that. Everything that they've been trading on and making money on, that's all yours, Lexus.
You're
Ask
only
them for the
entitled of it.
original note.
You're only
Ask them
entitled
for
of
the
it
original note.
if you're
The old bank or the old one or the new one? Because
Anything with your name on it is yours.
It doesn't matter. Whatever bank you're paying, you're supposed to pay your mortgage to. Tell them I need the original note. I'd like to go over it for taxes purposes. And
You want the wet ink signature. You want your wet ink signature.
Yeah, I would like the original note with the wet ink signature because that establishes the contract. If there's no contract, there's no mortgage. There's no debt to be paid.
But you can open up a bank account online nowadays, so you got to go around that. But listen, this is like you said, Moon. All this we're speaking of, you can't. None of that is owed to you if you're in your minor capacity. You need to get yourself up into your mature capacity. Put everyone on notice before you even could think about telling anybody how to handle your securities.
Amen.
Correct.
And on that note, excuse me, y'all, I just wanted to chime in. Hi, everybody, Rich, AM, PM, whatever time zone you're in. And speaking about putting them on notice, one of the things that I picked up early on in this journey is sometimes being in court can be looked at as an opportunity for us, right? Because it gives us the opportunity to put our status on record right then and there. So you're able to say it, for the record, I am, and then placing your status on the record. Now you have the public record already made, right? And then another thing that I picked up along the way is I was listening to someone's live and they were recounting a phone call that they had in reference to a court case. And the clerk, the gist of what I'm getting to is the clerk advised the person, advised the private civilian that was doing the live that what you put on record with us, we notify any and everyone else of what your wishes are. Like the one thing she was talking about was the clerk was educating her that whatever you don't want to have information that you don't want to have made a public record, or you don't want to have information released, or you have some kind of terms and conditions, if you're placing them with the court system, then the court system turns around and notifies any and everyone else. Now, those are just the words that were said, so I don't have any more details on that. I just picked up on that, like, okay, well, then that's something to implement, or, that we have in our arsenal. So I definitely wanted to add that for you, Felix, with you going into court. If you hadn't placed your status on record, if it is a court of record, then that's a wide open doorway for you to be able to get that accomplished. Not to say, I don't know enough to say you don't have to notify anyone else. It doesn't necessarily hurt, I don't think, to put it in writing and notify other entities. It's just, as far as you all talking about your court case, that's something I wanted to add to the panel.
Thank you so much for that,
You
because
could
that's a
also
very, very creative way to do it too.
Right? When I heard it, I
Yes.
was like, oh, the
That's why I
bomb.
love these lives, because there's just so much great information with everybody
you could
collaborating. And
Right.
you
Star City,
could
I'm so grateful
also
you've been like everywhere lately and always at the right times.
Right.
you
That's the
you could
amazing part of the journey. Woo, you
Oh
get
yes, yep,
me
this is
right
it.
on
you could
time.
also
And the old me
you
would
could
have been
also
freaking out
go
right now.
around
So
your you can also go around your yard for your property and just put a bunch of signs that say "Do not trespass." So the reason why you want to put "Do not trespass" rather than "No trespass" is because they operate on assumption and presumption. So if
yeah,
you put
I need that.
"No trespass," they're gonna assume and presume that you mean KNOW trespass. So they know they can trespass.
Right.
But if you put "Do not trespass," they can't trespass, and if they do, you can hold them liable for trespassing.
Hey y'all, I'm a hop off. I'm a hop down real quick. Can you guys get Virtuous Women 4 on here? She says, "Can I get on the panel? I'm an ex-cop running an eviction advocate program." So I'm
Oh
gonna
my
hop off, y'all.
God.
Trying to get Virtuous Women on here, please, you guys. God
Yes,
bless you
I'll jump
guys.
down
Thank
if
you
I need
guys.
to.
Thank you guys for your time. I'm
You're
gonna hop
not
off.
leaving, are you, Felix? You just going to the comments?
Yes, I'm gonna just go to the comments. I just want Virtuous Women up for up
Yeah,
here.
for
Thank you so
sure.
much, Felix, for your help.
Well, you
No,
know
thank you
what?
guys.
Somebody else just went down. So it's a
Okay,
box open.
we got a slot open for Virtuous Woman. If you guys want to accept her, Virtuous
I
Woman
also read in the
for.
comments somebody said to take down the mailbox numbers. Is that accurate?
Um, I'm not gonna actually say anything on that because that's a little hard. I mean, I'm not gonna say something that I don't want to like mislead anybody. You know what I'm saying? So I would
I
yes
appreciate
you
that.
can do that, but to your own purview because those you know what I mean. But I'll let Virtuous Woman talk and then we'll talk about that more later.
Yeah, I was gonna add a little something.
Okay, Grand
Thank
Risings, everyone. This is Virtuous Woman. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can hear
Yes.
you.
ma'am.
Oh, okay. I've been making comments in the chat, but I don't think anybody was seeing it. I have a lot of experience with what the young lady is dealing with, where she's facing the eviction in the morning with the sheriffs. And so I just wanted to just give her some insight on how she can handle it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so first of all, make sure that someone is at the house all day tomorrow, because you can't have it abandoned. Somebody has to be there. And I'm speaking from the perspective of law enforcement. Somebody has to still be there.
Right, I've heard that.
Um, Posting the signs is correct. Just what the gentleman just said, you need to post the signs. Now, the things that you can be doing now to prepare for this event in the morning is I'm in Texas, so we can do filings 24/7 with the UCC. I don't know what it is like in Florida. I'm helping a gentleman in Florida, and he's been actually going up to the state office to do his UCC filings. But we've had a lot of success. What you can do is do a UCC1 and express your equitable title. You're going to claim your equitable title in a UCC1. When you're doing the UCC1 document, you're going to do the regular sections where you're doing the debtor and the creditor, so to speak. But for the secured party creditor, you're going to make yourself a secured party creditor and the Department of Treasury, the U.S. Department of Treasury, because remember, all bills are paid, all debts are paid. This is their debt. You're going to appoint them as a secured party creditor. I have a document that is the best UCC one I've ever seen, and it's from someone that's running for president. If you can fill in the blanks. Remember when that person just got fined the $450 million? I have
They
that
paid it off.
UCC, and he instructed his people. They did the UCC. I have the full UCC, and they said pay it in gold. He had already registered his gold, but in that UCC, that's where I learned that you assign the U.S. Department of Treasury as your secure party creditor. and it does work.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So what you could do, young lady, is while you, see if you can do your filing right now. See if you can access the UCC portal for the state of Florida, and you can try to do your UCC filing. It usually takes a couple of hours to get the file number back. Once you get the file number, then you're going to print that out. And if law enforcement comes, you'll be able to show them the UCC. Now, it's going to be important what you put in that claim on your UCC. You got to make sure that you're going to do the non-UCC and a regular UCC. With the non-UCC, you're going to be claiming your equitable interest with all of your receipts of what you've done, you know, in terms of the improvements that you did to the property. Once you get all of these things done, you're going to still have somebody at the house and go down to the recorder's office and put it on the record. Once you put that on the record, then it should slow down and delay this process to give you more time. Then you're going to file those documents with the court for your eviction case.
Thank you so very much. I'm so grateful. Thank you to everybody. I really appreciate your help.
And if you DM me, I can send the sample of a UCC.
Oh my God, that'd be so great. Thank you.
I can
Thank
see
you.
it. And I'm up now, so just do the sample of the UCC. And for anybody, I don't have it right now, but I can send it to Starseed. I'm going to send her the UCC that I talked about the person running for president.
God bless you, Virtuous.
Yes, and so we all can. Yes, and we all can be on the same page. Now, my last thing I want to say is I'm in Texas. I just won my foreclosure case, and for anybody that knows anybody in Texas, here's what's going on. A mortgage company that I had initially contracted with, they transferred my mortgage to another company. During COVID, that company that they transferred it to was unlicensed for 204 days during that transfer. I have been fighting them because that's fraud. You have to have a license. They don't have any authority to foreclose on me. I was able to finally get it all shut down. I made police reports, SAR reports, all kind of reports to various agencies. And then I was able to get the foreclosure stopped. It was supposed to happen on July the 2nd. So now what this company, the fraudulent company that didn't have a license, what they've done now is come back and they're transferring my mortgage contract to a new mortgage servicer without any kind of authority to do so. So now I have to go back and fight and fight this thing. So I'm waiting for the new mortgage servicer to send me, their welcome information and all of that. And I'm adding that to a complaint with the U.S. Post Office because that's fraud through mail. And so I'm building all of my documentation. And so it's a fight, but I document everything that I do and I try to share that with anybody that needs it. So follow me, like me, whatever. And I'll work through Starseed to get most of the information because I'm not really savvy with all of this Telegram and all of this kind of stuff. But I'll make sure whatever I have that can help will get to her.
Thank you so
One of the best defenses for mortgage foreclosures is to ask for the original note with the wedding signature on it.
Yeah, but if you study it out just a little bit further, the courts are allowing them to monetize that because it was in the contract.
Well, so here's the thing.
It was hidden. So it was a concealment in the contract, but that wasn't like the remedy that I was able to get.
So here's the thing with when you ask for the original note with the wedding signature. So what it is usually when you get a mortgage, what they'll do is they'll copy the original note and then they destroy the original.
Exactly.
So when they destroy the original, if they don't have it, then there's no contract and there's no consideration because they destroyed it without your knowledge.
Not only that, Moonchild, but they also add a signature on top of your signature, creating a promissory note, and they
Correct.
trade that.
Well,
And you were
also,
never
if you
giving knowledge of that.
That's
correct,
why
and
we have to
also
do audits on these. We have to do audits on our signatures on our social so that we
yeah,
can see how many times they've done that.
restrictive endorsements would be the best thing to do
Yeah.
whenever you're signing a contract or a mortgage or even a financing application for a car. If you
And
do it with a restrictive endorsement, they can't turn the paper over to the back side, which is the private side, and then put their stamp on it, which says paid to the order of financial institution by financial institution manager, name, and then then they protect themselves with their UCC 1-308 and their other stuff without recourse, without prejudice, and
Well,
that's to protect them.
good thing
right.
about
And
equity
it
is that
matters though if you're in a
we're owed all
judicial
this.
or non-judicial state as well, because
True.
Texas is non-judicial, so they just move fast on this stuff.
True. And you have to be able to catch it too, because
Yeah.
I'm in Colorado and they like to obfuscate here, so like they're so far left that they like to put everything into the same box and category as sovereign citizen. And so if you can't respond properly, that they'll just label you a sovereign citizen.
Right. And with somebody told or suggested the young lady do the affidavit, which is correct, but you got to make sure that you put the stamps on it and you sign your signature, your living well, it's not signature, your living autograph, your autograph
Yeah.
Yeah.
across.
Yeah.
It's called canceling out the
Yeah,
stamp.
on both sides though, because the judge can be on the bench if he sees the affidavit and flip the page over where it's all blank and say, I don't see it.
Exactly. That's from postal powers, and that's a trick that they try to do. I did that with an affidavit the other day for a court situation I'm dealing with, and they were pretty scared. They wouldn't even let me talk. They just gave me a new court date, so I got to figure something out now.
So I'm sorry, can you repeat that with the stamps?
So what you do is you get a stamp. It doesn't matter 1 cent, 2 cent. But when you fill out your affidavit and you get it signed, after you get it signed and notarized, you flip it over on the back and you put it on the bottom right corner, and then you put a red thumbprint in the middle of it, and then sign through it at a 45-degree angle your living woman name. So if you use a syntax grammar or whatever, you know what I mean? If you've seen that floating around, which is your last name, comma, first name, dash, middle name, right?
And that is for endorsement. Same with the check. You look at
Correct.
the check on the information. Look at your check when next time you guys get paid. Look at the
Correct.
front of the check. It has
And
all the
what you do,
information. And what do you do when you turn around?
what you do when you do that through the
Sign it
postal
here.
stamp is you're canceling out the stamp, and now you are the postmaster for that document. And then you put the date either above the stamp, like on one of the corners or whatever, or below it on the bottom. And like Virtuous Woman was saying, you can do it on the front and back, but I just did mine on the back because I know how the courts work, and the courts tend to do that thing a lot. What she said is where they'll look at your affidavit, they'll read it. If it's powerful, then they'll just flip it over, or if the clerk of the court knows how powerful it is, they'll slide it to the judge upside down, and then the judge, if he don't see nothing on it, because remember, on any document or paperwork, the front is public and the back is private.
That's
So
what I say.
when they flip it to the front facing down and the back is showing, if there's nothing on the back, then the private is blank, and they'll just tell you, oh yeah, I didn't get your paperwork, or I don't see your paperwork here, I got all your papers here, I don't see nothing. And then when you put that stamp on it, that helps alleviate them trying to lie on the stand and tell you that they don't have your paperwork.
Hey,
Yes.
real quick, guys. I'm sorry. I gotta get out of here. I got court in the morning. I got court in a couple hours. So I just wanted to say thank you guys. Thank you guys for your time. Moonchild, Starseed, Tea Time, Virtuous.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
guys. NBA Masterpiece.
My
Thank you.
pleasure. Our pleasure. You are going to do awesome tomorrow. Our Creator is with you. The power and the
Yes, for
force is
sure.
with you and for you.
That's right. I
Hallelujah.
love that.
Thank you. Love you
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Look forward to talking with you next time.
All right. Bye.
And Starseed, I'm going to have to go as well, but I wanted to put this out there to you. As you're building your team, consider me to be one of the notaries on your team. You should have at least three notaries, and the notaries should be public and private. I'm both. The reason why is because in this situation, the young lady, she needs something notarized. You get what I'm saying? But when you have your team, your notaries are available 24/7 to help people. So you need, like when we're doing notaries, if you can get three notaries to notarize a document, it's law.
Yep.
And so when you build in your team, I'll be one of your notaries. I'm finishing up all of my stuff so I can be nationwide, mobile over the phone and internet or whatever. But try to find some more notaries. That way when people come to you, even if it's in the middle of the morning like now, we can help.
While you're doing your notary
That's
thing,
great,
before
good for
you
you.
bounce to Virtuous,
Yes.
while you're doing your thing, go to your SOS and see if they are maybe on their website and see if they have a non-citizen notary. Because I just found this out today that in my state they have a paper that you can fill out or an online form you can fill out where you can be a non-citizen notary.
Yeah, I have to go through that process because I'm literally almost out of this whole situation. And then I came across Starseed because I desperately need to refunds, get some more funds so I can finish. But I'm no longer considered a U.S. citizen. I've come out.
Yeah, so
And so
I
I'm
guess
running
they have.
my notary under my ins legis. So
Yeah, so I guess they have a non-citizen
yes.
a non-citizen notary form that you can do, and I believe if they have it in my state, they should have it in all states. So
Yes.
just check with your SOS and see if they have them forms, because then you'll be protected like a mug and still be able to be a notary.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries. I just found it out today, so I was like, "What? That's dope."
But yeah, but I think that would be good for Starseed's group if she can get some notaries and stuff. And that way, if people call in the middle of, she's doing a live and somebody come on with a situation like the young lady has, you'll be able to get some help right then.
Yeah, and I mean, I spent, like I said earlier today, I spent maybe 5 hours total altogether with the research that I was doing to draft up an affidavit of attorney in fact sui juris.
Yeah.
And they did not want to see that.
Yeah, I believe that.
Because the liars, the professional liars, they're like, I don't know what this sui, and then they purposely say the word wrong, and it's like, bro, this is in law. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, good. I'm believing for your success. I forgot which person it is that's facing the eviction, the tea time. Yeah, I'm going to be praying for your success, and we're going to get this victory.
Thank you so much for all of your help. I'm so grateful. I really appreciate you coming up and giving me all that extra info. I really appreciate it.
And if I can figure out how to message you or something like that, I'll just give you my telephone number. You can get in touch with me today. If you need.
Oh my God, you're an angel. Thank you so much. I've been freaking out.
I'm going through things myself, but we have to be available for people. Sometimes you think you have the bad problem, but then you're running into somebody else, and
Absolutely, and maybe we can help each other in some way. I'm sure.
Exactly.
You never know.
Exactly. But yeah, I'll figure out a way to give you my number.
Thank you
Just
so
follow her
much.
right now.
So
If you follow
Virtuous,
her right now, then when you get off the live, you can just go message her.
Okay.
yeah. So Virtuous
I'll just send it
Woman,
in the chat. I don't care. Anybody can call me.
so Virtuous Woman, you would click Tea Times box.
Okay.
And then you should see a little ribbon that'll you should see like a box that comes up with icons, gifting icons, and then above that you'll see a little oval that like shows her picture, and it'll have her name, and her name will be like in green or turquoise. Do you see that?
Yes.
And I just put my number in the chat.
You click on that, and then that's gonna take you her page. The beginning part of how to get to her page comes up, and then at the bottom you'll see follow in red. Do you see that?
I just clicked that.
Okay, so then that'll take you to her page, and then you should see message, there, and then you'll be able to, it'll bring up like a texting screen, and you'll be able to message her, put your phone number in, and then y'all will be able to connect.
I also
Thank
have,
you so
and
much.
sometimes in my group, but I also have a Telegram group, so that way we're not confined by the limitations of TikTok for Telegram. So if you go to my profile or if you follow me, the link is in the bio. And if that link doesn't work, then you can just message me and I'll send you the proper link.
Okay, going in
That's
now.
just for people. That's just for people who want to be able to talk, and who don't want to put the stuff on. Who have like situations they don't. I have a lot of people in that group. Well, I have a good amount of people in that group, and it's not that big or anything like that. But
Quality, not quantity.
You're right. That information is the power.
And so, but like, that's the thing is I have different people from different types of avenues within the space. So, like Tea Time, she messaged it earlier today on this situation, and she got a couple answers. You know what I mean? Now,
Right. Right.
it's not always gonna be a thing, but I figure if I can get enough people to join the group, then we'll have a plethora of people with different avenues or different knowledge standpoints to be able to help people with remedy.
Right. Combat it from all sides. Yeah. Right. And virtuous woman, I wanted to ask, I'm glad you did speak on when you started talking about the UCC and then you came back with the non-UCC. That's a question that I pondered because for the longest on this journey, UCC is what I had been hearing. And then I also am a student of the People's Remedy. Brother Isaiah, is anybody familiar with his platform over on YouTube?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Okay. So I don't know him personally. It's like any other information pretty much that that's been that I've gotten as a download or it's been brought to me. And he was actually the first person in, I would say, over a year that ever brought it to the forefront and made the suggestion or pointed us in the direction of looking further into the difference between filing a UCC and filing a non-UCC. He has a video about it. I don't know the name of it, but if you put in the People's Remedy, People's with apostrophe S Remedy, his videos, should populate for you.
Okay.
And in that video, he was just recommending that we not or you give consideration to not pursuing a UCC and pursuing what you're doing as a non-UCC, because what we're doing is it's in commerce and it's a commerce transaction. However, we're not doing it for commerce reasons. We're doing it for personal and private use. And so he was just...
Part of what you're saying makes sense, but the part that he's missing is you got to realize this: everything we've been doing and everything we do is based off contracts. So we establish our public control over the ins liges, and then we still go into private and deal with our other things. The difference in my understanding of the non-UCC is the non-UCC ultimately is going to become a trust. The reason why it's going to be a trust is the way you're going to set it up. You're going to put all your security agreements, your fee schedule, your list of assets and everything like that. That when you do the non-UCC properly, you're going to use register mail. When you use register mail, the register mail number, that red and white thing, that number becomes your trust number.
Right.
The trust number. And then you have to make sure that when you're mailing it to yourself, that you put insurance on it, that it will be able to be guaranteed for 10 years or whatever the postal requirement is for that. You have to do that. So you don't just mail it to yourself. You got to put insurance on it and make sure that you extend the validity of that contract number.
Yeah, the registered mail number is an account number for what the U.S.
And that's what that's going to be the trust number for your non-UCC. So
Right.
now when you have that number, the young lady that's dealing with the eviction, if she had done, just the registered mail number, reserve one for that, she can put that on her UCC one that she can try to do today. And so then she will have all of her receipts and everything that she doesn't want in the public concerning her eviction case. She can put all of that into that non-UCC and document it in the UCC one with that registered mail number.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and when I brought it up, I didn't get the catch, but when I brought it up, I was bringing it up more so as a question on clarity, because that was what I have been wondering. Like, is it that we do both?
Yes,
Or
you need both
okay,
because you're dealing in contracts. It's no way to get around not doing the UCC one, and
well,
it
You guys gotta
works.
understand
so is
that
the
everything.
so my question is the non-UCC not dealing with contracts?
No, the non-UCC, the purpose of that is to keep your things private. All of
Right, but
this
No,
it's
is
still,
it's
contracts.
but I thought, so what I'm trying
private
to get an
UCC.
understanding
It's a
is,
UCC one, but private.
right, and so I'm saying it still serves the same purpose, right? It's still dealing with a contract. You are just not going into their realm, right? Because it sounds like that's
Just think
No,
about it like this: when you're
no,
doing your
it's a
UCC
lien.
one, you keeping things in the public. So the things that you want on that UCC one, you're just going to redact information. Like you're not going to put your full birth certificate number. You're not going to put your full driver's license number and different things like that. But in your non-UCC, you can, have reference to those documents that they're
Yeah,
in
it's
your
collateral.
private, but you're not publishing anything that you don't want in the public in your non-UCC either.
Correct. And the UCC one is not a contract; it's a lien. So
Right.
what you're
well,
doing
it's a
is
notice of a lien. It's not even the lien, but yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And so like what you're saying is that you're first in line, first in time. This is why it's good for court cases, because when you get a charge put on you, they put a lien on your social security number. But if you have a UCC one already established, they can't do that.
Yeah, the lien's got to be paid out to you first, or to
Because
you,
it's
to your principal,
first in
right?
line, first in line, first in time.
Right. I'm just trying to wrap my mind around. I'm still because I'm just wrapping my mind around the whole, because I had let go of the whole follow the UCC. That's why I hadn't done anything yet. Because you get information and you find out down the line, you got half of information. You're glad you didn't make moves yet. So just trying to wrap my mind around it, because I definitely thought that even with the non UCC being private, that it's still the same thing. It's just how a private operates versus operating in the public with the UCC, and and being in the full fledged commerce world versus saying, yeah, I'm in commerce, however, it's for personal use. I'm not
Right.
Yeah.
conducting commerce business the way you all have commerce set up.
Right,
And
right.
so
But like I
one
say, I
thing I
have a good
wanted to
example so that you can see that. Now, the young lady that's facing the eviction, here's another thing that nobody even talked about. When I mentioned that you make the secured party creditor the U.S. Department of Treasury, now if you still got somebody at the house, you can go to the district court where the physical person that's the trustee from the Department of Treasury is, and you can present your paperwork and see if they can assist you in canceling this eviction, because they were supposed to be handling all of your bills and everything in the first place. And you
yeah,
don't have
and
to
then
make an appointment because they work for us. You can show up there at the courthouse and find out what floor they are on. And then you go to the office with your documents. And if you have an authenticated birth certificate and all the other things with your UCC one, you present that to them and ask them for immediate remedy right then and there. And they should be able in their office, so to speak, to shut down this eviction.
Now, which
and then
office is this that you're asking?
Okay, first let me lay the foundation. Okay, the U.S. Department of Treasury has trustees in every state that work for us.
Okay.
That's our trustee over our public trust. And so they haven't been doing anything because we don't go to them for anything. She can actually go there. It's at in Texas, it's at the same location where the bankruptcies are filed. It's at that level. In that same building, they're supposed to be there too. And you find out, she can Google it and find out, what floor they're on and where they're located. And she can take her paperwork there and bring them into this situation because they're supposed to be representing us.
And then another thing I wanted to touch on is I know that some people are having problems filing UCCs within their state. It is my understanding that if you file in New York, it's an automatic approval, and then it is nationwide.
Yeah, well, all of the UCC filings are supposed to be distributed to every state. All of this, that's supposed to be the process. It's just easier when you're going through your state where you're where you're located.
When I did my state, they didn't approve me, so I had to go to New York, and it was an automatic. Within 5 minutes, I got approved.
Yeah, if she runs into that problem in Florida, she can probably do that too.
Do you have to go in person, or this can be done online still?
You can do it online in
You
the
can do
New
it
York
online.
State.
That's why I've been saying since I've been on this live, I have been putting it in the chat that she could be right there online trying to get that file, because it takes sometimes about 2 hours to get the UCC confirmation number. Once she gets that, she can print some pieces of paper and put that strategically around the property or whatever with the notice that the gentleman was describing to her. You got to use the word, the correct wording for the law enforcement, and that should be able to settle it right there.
You guys are amazing. So grateful.
So we could always get with you at a later time to find out, like you were saying, the correct wording for the policy enforcers.
Yes.
Policy enforcers instead of saying law enforcers, yeah, or police.
You're correct. You're correct. Because that's what they are. They are enforcement of the policy for the federal corporation.
Right. And I was saying that
Abercrombie.
Yeah, and I was saying that for anybody in the comments that had just to clarify, because I know what it is to hear people say terms and you don't even know why they're saying it. The significance of it.
Yeah.
What are the policies that the policy enforcers are enforcing?
They're enforcing the policies from that are coming
From
out
the
through the
federal
courts.
government, right? From the federal government.
What are the policies, though? What are the policies? It's everybody talks about them all the time. They use them in their affidavits. They use them in all
Statutes and
stuff.
codes.
Thank you very much, lady.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Statutes and codes.
Codes, acts, and ordinances.
Right.
Which are not law. So
I'm sure a virtuous woman could agree to this. When you enforce the statutes, you're only enforcing the policy to the federal corporation, because
Exactly.
the statute is disguised as law, but it's not law for us living men and women. It's
Right.
law for government officials. What up, Sean?
for the citizen, yeah, and the corporations, yeah.
Yeah, and if you're a citizen, you're in the bracket of the 14th Amendment citizen.
Oh, and going back on that topic, when you were, I believe it was you, Moonchild, that was, given the information about being, expressing your status as being a non-citizen national, or anything that has national in it, right? So this is another one of those, where is the full-fledged validity, right? Because I hear that, term being used, and I see it in material that I read. And then I have also come across information, and when you were saying it, I just went and also did a search for it, right? And it's not to say, one of the things that I've, in the back of your mind, and then you continue to hear and have it reiterated, that just because you read it, doesn't necessarily make it, solid true, just because AI gives it to you, right? So I'll preference everything I'm saying with that. At the same time, as you were given that information, I did a search on that to with the question of, is that status or classification within the U.S. jurisdiction? And the answer is that I got from the research I just did when you were given information was a yes. And then I was on a live earlier today, and I don't know, is anybody familiar with Cool Fox on here on TikTok?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I love Cool
So
Fox.
right, you say you love Cool Fox.
Oh, yes.
I know, right? So he was just sharing this information with someone that had a similar question. They were asking, if you haven't expressed any status at all, are you able to go into the courts and say, and then he used that I'm a non-citizen national. And so Cool Fox went into basically giving the same explanation that AI did, that puts you're still you are still under the one that's making that designation is still under the U.S. jurisdiction. You're just not a citizen. So, that's one of those, like I said, that's another one of those topics, because you hear that, like, you have to know who you are and you have to declare who you are and you have to notify them. And then, I haven't heard much conversation go into, okay, what exactly does that mean, right? Because you could say, so my office is executor, or my office is grantee, or my office is benefactor, or you may say beneficiary, right? And then I've been on like 903's live. I don't know if anybody knows 903 on here. He does, he provides information, and his platform is all about, community service, not charging for any of the information,
Yep.
making
Sure
anything
he
available, blah, blah. Right. And so
I'm gonna
he
stop
has,
you right there. I'm
there's,
gonna stop you right there for 903.
go ahead. Yeah.
He's recycling information,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah. Well,
information
yeah.
that isn't being can't be used at this point in time because it's stuff that was done years ago.
Oh, okay. That's new. Well, I knew it
So
wasn't like his information. He says that, he seems to be very forthcoming. Like, I'm not telling you, this is mine. And there's certain things we're talking about that I have done, certain things I haven't done. I'm taking my
what
time.
I would say to you is I'm officially blocked from 903, and the reason why I'm officially blocked is because of what was resonating with you with what I was talking about, status, standing, and position. I
Hmm.
was I was shared his live one day, and he was explaining whatever his package that he had that he was trying to share to the people as a
Hmm.
good Samaritan or whatever. And when everybody started giving him praise, I popped up in the comments and mentioned you guys got to have status, standing, and position before you guys start doing this stuff. Remember that. And
Hmm.
then he didn't like that, so he blocked me from his live and his profile. So
Oh,
there's certain things that he's doing that he doesn't want any kickback from, and you guys got to start using discernment with some of these people in these lives. Now,
hmm.
I'm not saying that he don't have good information. He probably does. I've only been able to see some of the stuff that he was talking about for 5-10 minutes, and then he kicked me out for making a comment, which was you got to have status, standing, and position. Now, on another thing, with the discernment is going to give you guys the, like, all right, so when you use discernment, something will tell you, is this right? Or, I don't know, right?
Right.
So with that being said, you guys got to use discernment when you guys are hearing people speak, especially in this space. There are plenty of people who have done certain things. Now, some of these people that are in here are ego based. So if you give them pushback just by asking questions like you were doing,
Right.
they might not like that.
Yeah.
And now, like I said, I created a Telegram group so that way people can come in there, and if they do, they can just start sharing information, because I don't have that. I'm not doing this shit for money. I came into this space to learn because I had caught a case. So I'm trying to find out the best remedy for anybody that's dealing with cases, and then also to lead into the moving to private banker and stuff. Also, a good person to hear information from is Sean in the comments. He has a wealth of knowledge and he can give you all kinds of things. Um, like he said in the comments, status correction is really just correcting the record and protection. So, Sean has good information. I suggest checking him out. He doesn't do much lives, but you'll see him in some of the lives if you follow him. He's
Yeah.
good. He's got good information. There's a few other people that I listen to. I started this space by listening to Yusuf Al,
Yeah.
but I ended up venturing off because Yusuf Al kind of goes on tangents and gets mad at people commenting and stuff, and
Oh my goodness, yes.
it just gets old after a while. But I get where he's coming from when he gets upset and stuff, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's funny to hear him go off on some of these people. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to find the answers.
Right.
I'm not trying to deal with the tangents.
Right.
So, other things to do is just to start reading history, dude. All the acts that were done, all the treaties that were done, all the addresses that were done, and you can start with the Banking Relief Act, the Trading with the Enemy Act, the Federal Reserve Act, the Social Security Administration Act. All that stuff gives you gems in there, and it'll explain to you
Organic Act.
why we are considered enemy, belligerent, combatant, and rebels.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, back to that. I would just say just be mindful. Just be mindful on who you're listening to. Some of these people that are in this space, they're jumping in other people's classes, stealing their information, and then going selling it themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really get down with the whole selling thing. I'm all about whatever you're talking about. While you talking for free, I'm down. I'm in. I'm game for that. The
Like
rest
I
of
said,
it,
I have a Telegram group in my thing. Sean's in there, all that stuff. It's completely open. I'm not offering any, or I'm not asking for any money. You can ask Tea Time. She hasn't heard me ever go in my group and ask for some money or anything like that. She hasn't had to pay nothing. It's just free. It's free space for people in this space. If they have questions, I have a plethora of people like Sean in the comments who can answer questions if they catch the comment or if they catch you messaging, whatever. It's for everybody. It's not there. There's no blockage on it. You're not, unless you come in there and you cause discord and you start talking shit to my members, then that's the only thing that's really gonna push you out. Other than that, and I've had that happen to me before, so I've had to kick someone out of my group. But other than that, there's only one person.
yeah.
But other than that, yeah. If you follow me and you go into my profile on TikTok, I started outside of this space, so it's just videos of me doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So don't mind those. There are a couple of videos of this stuff, this information that we have, but it's only a very small few. Yeah. If that link doesn't work, you can always message me and say, "Hey, this link isn't working," and I'll give you the link that will work.
Okay. So I would like to, if we can, if you're okay with it, Starseed, if we could give some, I maybe go into maybe vocabulary, right, on the different offices that we have to choose from, right? And the reason I say that is where I was going with the 903 live is there's someone that is on his panel sometimes. I believe it's Creator X is the name, and he presents himself as one that has a lot of dealings with judicial and court type proceedings. And so a piece of information that he was sharing, or what I walked away from one of the lives that I was on, that he was on, was he expressed that being in the office of the grantee and being in the office of and then I'm recently came into, within the last couple of days, of looking into how to pursue what you're doing under equity, I've come across some, information that was sharing that, the beneficiary, like early on in the journey, the information I was getting was the beneficiary doesn't have the ability to really say much, right? You are the benefactor and you're the party that's receiving. However, you don't really have much say. And then, but under equity, it appears that that's different, that that the beneficiary is considered a third party to the contract. And therefore, anything that's happening with that contract, if there's going to be any changes, like let's say they're coming talking about, oh, now we're going to charge late fees, or now we're going to change and, we're going to make your due date on, if we haven't moved off into performing, right, versus paying, right? So that's the conversation I'm having now. So if there's some changes happening, those changes lawfully are not supposed to be happening without the beneficiary's consent, right? So that's why I asked if we could, if there's anyone that can share anything that they have on the various options that are out there when we hear the term, what office are you in, or what's your standing status, and what's the other word? Position, right. So if we could talk about that, and as many people chime in, because like we're saying, that's one of those kind of foundational steps, that we all find the door that we find ourselves at, as we're beginning as we're beginning the journey, right, and trying to wrap our minds around the information, or even if we're immersed in it, and this is kind of the first time we're hearing, oh, there's something else I was supposed to do, or there's some other information, a title that I need to be resonating with as I'm moving throughout this journey.
So check this out. I am a non-citizen national standing in the executor office at the General Post of the nation of Colorado. The land mailing location, which I'm not gonna give right now, but it's gonna be my last name province in my city, and then it's gonna be near 50-998 in the United States Minor Outlying Islands, or USMOI. Now, what I did there is I just took myself out of the jurisdiction of the United States and put myself on the land, and then also threw myself into trust waters. Trust waters means that the corporate government cannot trespass, or else they'd be violating equity. Therefore, meaning I am completely safe and secure. Now, what I would like to say is, I would like for people to understand this, that so people are jumping in and going and getting trust because they heard some other person go tell them get a trust, but there cannot be a trust without an estate. So the estate comes first,
right?
Then the trust is underneath, or you create multiple trusts underneath, like the Rockefellers did. So that way it umbrellas underneath the estate, because the estate is their name, right? So when you're the executor over your estate, you're in the highest position ever.
Right. Over the grantee?
Over everything. Well, the grantee or grantor is the living person who appoints the executor, and that could be yourself.
So that's the highest position, right?
Yeah, the executor is the highest position, and it's higher than law.
But under the grantee is what you're saying, right? Because the grantee appoints that treasurer, that trustee. So the grantee is first in line, right?
Yeah, but no, the executor isn't considered a trustee. He's considered higher than a trustee. He's the only one the executor is the grantor.
Okay, all right, okay, got that.
And then he's also the beneficiary, because he's the beneficiary of the trust. He benefits off of administering the estate in the proper capacity, manage, control, and operate.
So speaking of, is it a situation where the executor could not be the trustee and the beneficiary?
That's in trust. That's different.
Different than what?
So so your the named estate is it acts as a trust but is not a trust. See what I'm saying?
No, not being difficult. No, I just you're just this is the first time I'll say it like this. It's the first time I'm hearing it presented. Like
Okay.
you could.
So what I mean by that is but what I mean by the estate acts as a trust but it isn't a trust is the way that you express it. So it was so you were appointed by the grantor, which the grantor and the executor are the same because it's your name that they created the ens legis, right? You're the person. You were declared a person when your umbilical cord and your placenta died off because that was a living cells. Those were living cells of and living DNA of you. So when that died off, that gave them the authority to take your BC and social security number and put it into probate and say that you died and now are lost at sea. So when you become the executor, you basically stake a claim at your office, or once you get your office set up, you stake a claim and say that you are no longer dead and lost at sea.
And what does it mean?
Which puts you in the majority status, and then no executor can be imprisoned unless they violate fiduciary duties. Now, there's many ways to violate fiduciary duties. If you go to court, because you're at the highest office when you're in the executor office, if you go to court, you forfeit your seat as the executor and jump down to trustee, which then what these courts are doing when you go to court and stuff is they're creating trusts, making you the trustee, and then you're getting put as surety for the said trust as as the trustee, and then they're violating you as violation of fiduciary duties, which then makes you liable to go to jail or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So the reason what I mean by the estate acts as a trust but it isn't a trust is it's got the three things: the executor, the grantor, and then the beneficiary, right? A trust has the same type of thing. It's the trustee, the beneficiaries, and then the grantor or grantee, however you would like to say it. There's a really good book called How to Administer Your Trust. That's a really, really good book. It explains trust to a T, and it explains on how they operate. Essentially, there's always like this is a trust, right? Right now, what we're in right now is considered a trust agreement. Why? Because Starseed started this by declaration. She started the live. She declared there's a live and turned on her camera, and now there's a live. Now, everybody that jumped in the panel are beneficiaries when she's talking. So if she's talking, everybody benefits from it because they're benefiting from the knowledge she's spitting. Right now, the roles are turned because I'm speaking. So now everybody's benefiting from what I'm saying. If somebody else, like if Glenn starts talking, then now I switch positions and now I'm the beneficiary for whatever Glenn says. Everything is a trust. It's just on how you view it.
Okay. Okay. And when you said when you set up your office correctly, what does that entail?
You're kind of low, man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was saying, and when you said set up your office correctly, what does that entail?
Everything begins where?
I'm not sure where that office could be.
Post office.
Okay. Okay.
So the best thing to do, because you're going to be operating in the private and in commerce, is you're going to go create a business box at the post office. Not the USPS, but at the main post office. Why? Because when you create your office, you go get a business box that is now your office because you can receive mail 24/7. And Glenn can chime in anytime he wants to. But when you get that box, now you receive mail 24/7. So that's your corporate office because it's in a corporate location. But it's also on the land because you're at the main post office with the -9998. What that does is now you have a corporate office for your ens legis, which is a corporate fiction. And then and then you go and establish yourself with an EIN as an estate and trust, and now you're doing business as, and then you go do your DBAs and stuff, and then you're now doing business as an estate and trust. So then what that does is now you're able to operate in the private as the private living man when you're doing your thing, but then when you come out in the public, you are operating as an estate, and this is where you appoint yourself as the executor over your estate. When they made your estate, when they made your birth certificate, they didn't put estate on it. The reason why is because they don't want you to know that it's an estate. But when do they put the estate on there?
When you get your EIN?
No. Everybody goes through it every day of their life. They just don't realize it. So when a loved one passes away and the mail comes in, what does it say?
Oh yeah, you're right.
So when a loved one passes away and you get their first mail after they pass away, it says their first, middle, and last all caps name, estate. But they don't put that on the birth certificate because they don't want you to see that. They don't want you to see that because then you'll start noticing all the things that they're doing. You'll notice that it's a corporate fiction that your name is under.
Where would that notification come from? I asked because I have both of my mother and my father and their mothers and fathers are all deceased, right? And so we've been getting mail, but it didn't have that on it. It didn't have a state. So I'm wondering, is that something that you're saying comes from the Social Security office or the Vital Records office? Or are you saying just any mail that comes at that?
It just depends. Sometimes a mortgage company will send it a letter saying this is for the first, middle, last name estate. Sometimes the SSA will do it. I mean, it just depends, really. I mean,
Okay, either I hadn't noticed it. I know it didn't have anything like on the front, but perhaps I just didn't notice it because it didn't stand out to me at that time. So we might just need to go back and
you might just have to go back and read some of the mail that's been coming in because, like, my aunt just passed away not that long ago, right?
Mhm.
And when I've been staying at her house with her sons because they got to deal with taking care of the house until her husband takes care of all that. But the first bit of mail that the mortgage company sent was in her first, middle, and last name, and then they labeled it estate right after.
Can I chime in a little bit, please?
Go for it.
Okay. You talking about the PO box with the EIN linking up together within the post office?
So the way that I established it is I established the EIN with the hospital address because that's where the last known address for place of business was when you were born.
Okay. Well, if you take your PO box along with your EIN, long as it lines up with the IRS and the post office, you can take your go from a PO box to a general delivery with a change of address, and that'll put you in on top as being the president, along with the executive office within the post office.
You gotta be careful with general delivery because that's still a free service given to you by the USPS, and service means contract.
Yeah, about 30 days. It says about 30 days, but it can be longer.
Starseed, I saw you raising your hand.
Whenever you elect to get a free service, you put yourself under their jurisdiction.
Correct.
You need to remain in the service that you pay for.
Starseed, go for it.
So you can do a whole lot, guys, with this. Y'all are talking up my alley right now. Y'all are talking about what we're doing.
And like the gentleman said, the executive office is the highest thing on top of everybody. Because you're the beneficiary and you also the executor of that position. So
but not
it's
until after
dog throat.
appointment. But not
Yeah.
until after appointment, and it has to
Right.
be filed in the recorder of land deeds in Juro County.
Right. But
Starseed, I want to
yeah.
hear
But
what you have to say.
what I would do, right? Since you're doing getting yourself out of the jurisdiction, right? You actually have to put in a declaration of status, and I will file that with the Secretary of State. Then I will go to the courts and file with them. The Secretary of State does a multitude of things, make sure things get done within your state.
But some of these paths you all are talking about don't apply to married women. Married women have to get permission from their husband to be able to manage their own
The fuck I
trust and
do?
become the executor.
I
You
don't
would have
think
to go
so.
with your
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
yes,
No,
you
no,
do.
no, no,
Yes,
I
you do.
don't.
Security
You would have to go
Administration will
with your
shut you down.
birth certificate.
Check this out. Check this
You
out.
have to go with your birth
The two
certificate
become one
information.
flesh. The two become one flesh because all of this
Okay.
is off of the Bible. And trust
Okay.
me, I get clients that have gone through the process, and it's for the married women. The married women have to get a affidavit from their husband granting them access to their own trust because when she got married, her trust merged with him. I'm
Well,
going
see,
through it
my trust
myself.
that I've
Hold on.
hold on. The trust that I accessed, I didn't need no permission from no man.
I'm talking about the Social Security Administration trust, that trust, because you got multiple trusts everywhere.
Okay, so
Right.
here, let me just chime in on this real quick. If you're talking about married women for one, let's just break down the marriage. If you're married within the state, which means you went and got a marriage certificate, or a marriage certificate. What is a certificate? You
It's a
you had to
contract.
register. You had to register for that, right?
Yes, and it's actually a contract, and it matters when you have to cancel that. Like your status
So yeah,
matters in this.
exactly. So
Because
who owns
my
that?
husband is a U.S. citizen, and I'm a non-resident alien, so I had to file a separation agreement after I did all of these other documents because I didn't even go forward with my divorce because of this issue that I'm talking about right now. So I know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about because I'm
so
experienced.
because of the fact that you had to do all that, what you could do is go back under your maiden name, and then you can claim the executrix office.
I had to put on file with the IRS because you got to correct your filing status when
Yeah, you guys are
when a
just
private
separate.
is married to a U.S. citizen, and that's different. You got to be on record with the IRS, so you have to have like a legal separation agreement or something so that the IRS knows my
Well, yeah,
status.
that's because when you guys got married, you guys started filing together as
I never
married
filed with
couples.
my husband. I always filed separate, but it came up. I'm just telling
Okay.
you.
So what I'm saying though is like most of the time when people get married and they register for a marriage certificate or a marriage license, the definition of license is something that you go and acquire to do
Illegal
something that is
stuff.
not
License
is not
is move on
legally
illegal
required
stuff.
unless you have that particular card like a license. So if it's not permitted unless you have a license, then that means that you had to ask for permission. That's all that means. So
Yeah.
when you go and get a marriage license with the state now owns you and your husband because you made a contract with them as a joint thing. And yes, it does go back to the Bible, the man and the woman joined the one. But you can do a common law marriage with no marriage license and it would still work.
That's what I'm doing from here on out. Next husband I get.
But
Yes,
so
I was in the process of divorcing
what
when
I
I
would do
started
is
the
I
process.
would go look up the document by David Clarence called Understanding the Executor Office.
Yes, that's where I
And
got this
that
information
would tell
from.
you how to do it after you guys get your marriage license taken care of and stuff like that, because you're property of the state once you get a marriage license. It's that simple. You and your husband or whatever, that's pretty much as simple as I could put it.
Right.
You
Instead of
get a
two
marriage
adjoining, it's
license with
three
the state,
adjoining.
they own you.
It's three adjoining instead of two adjoining.
Yes,
Yeah.
Can I try
exactly.
this one more time? Then I keep my mouth shut.
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, okay. All this paperwork, I've been on a lot of people's live. All this paperwork that we're doing, right, is really, I would think, it's pretty much like a hamster wheel to me because I've been on this for the last 3 years anyway, right? But just think, y'all, there's not really a corporation really in place anymore because the board has been open, about 3 years, right? The borders are open. These people have flooded all these cities, right? And the corporation was charged, everybody knows, with crimes against humanity under the ICC, OJ, International Criminal Court of Justice, under the United Nations back in 2020 when they rolled in COVID to keep all that stuff down so all this information would be coming out, right? Now, the United States Corporation really ended back in, no more than a year and a half ago, but the good people have been fighting this battle since 2013 to get these bad players from off this landmass right here. All these people, right, that we're doing it is really on a hamster wheel. To tell you the truth, we have so much
I
knowledge, but so
disagree.
much knowledge can only be applied to something something that's not here anymore. The corporation is gone. The United States Corporation is out of here because the Federal Reserve banks closed down in 2019,
The
right?
Treasury.
Yeah,
We go through the Treasury.
and it's absorbed into the United States Treasury. The Federal Reserve banks are no longer in place no more because we're doing a whole lot of unnecessary paperwork. So we need to slow down and figure out what's going on with our country. So we need to take our country back. We really do.
Well, yep.
Take our country back. All this paperwork is unnecessary if we ain't taking our country back. We need to take our country back.
Well, I can tell you how you start taking yourself back to get to that point.
Yes, ma'am.
Go
I'm
for
gonna
it,
shut up now. I'm
RP.
sorry, y'all. I'm gonna shut up.
No, you let speak your mind.
No,
Go
yeah,
for it.
like totally. This is an open floor. But I've been working really hard. Me and my husband, we've been ridiculously in these books and stuff. And we've figured out a process that works. That's simple. We've simplified it to I think the simplest, like we've taken it to the bare minimum of what is necessary to remit your bills just to get there. We're actually looking for a programmer or like a coder. If anybody in here does that, I know somebody that I'm online with a lot does. I just can't remember who.
I do coding.
But we've got the framework already for an app that's going to do like
No, coding bank.
it's going to be like an all-in-one where you're going to be able to get all your forms. You're going to be able to track your packages. You're going to be able to inventory, do your books, your balances, all of it in one place where you're not going all around. It's all going to be centralized where we can actually figure out what we're doing and get ahead. But we're going to be posting documents here really soon of the whole process, and that's all going to be for free for anybody that wants it.
Could we ask you like a question on what is it based on, like anything in the past, like accepted for levy or things per se like that, or can you give us a clue on that?
It's hard
Okay,
to hear you.
Yeah, what was you?
Can you? Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I was just asking for a clue in regards to what process you've simplified as, in as much
Oh,
as
yeah.
that as it led.
So we're going through the Postal Service to remit our bills using the PO box, the business PO box.
Okay.
There is a system called Enterprise Payment Systems within
Right.
the Postal One account, which is a post office business account.
Yeah.
So there is the USPS remittance service, specifically the electronic remittance program or processing service, is designated to streamline the payment process for businesses and individuals by offering efficient electronic methods for processing remittances. Here is a detailed step-by-step process explaining how this service works from beginning to end. Receipt of payment. Mail collection payments arrive at designated USPS facilities via mail. These can include checks, money orders, and payment coupons. Sorting incoming mail is sorted based on criteria such as sender's type of payment and urgency. Data capture imaging. Once the payments are sorted, they are imaged using a high-speed scanner. This step involves creating digital images of the payment documents and coupons. The data extraction. The system then captures relevant data from the images, such as check amounts, dates, payer information, and payment coupon information. This process leverages optical character recognition technology to convert written information into digital data. Verification data validation. The captured data undergoes a verification process to ensure accuracy. This might involve checking the data against a pre-existing database to confirm details like account numbers, payment amounts, and payer identities.
So
Expectations.
what you're saying, can I chime in on that?
Yeah, of
So
course.
what you're basically saying is that you're using them to remit, but what I'm asking is like, as far as when I talk about a process, I'm talking about a process where you pay the account off or settle the account and discharge it, quote unquote, in that way.
Yeah,
And
well, you're going to
that,
reconcile it. What you're going to do is you're going to use a money order. You're going to create your
postal
own
money order
negotiable
then.
instrument of a money order.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Because the money order doesn't expire. The $1,
Yeah.
the postal money, it does not expire, and it's backed by gold and silver. And you
Yeah,
can get most
exactly.
of this
Yeah.
information off the 1951 postal manual. It'll tell you a lot of information.
I heard about that.
Postal
I've heard
Act
about
2.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a trip because I've been hearing a lot about the post office. I just wanted to maybe ask a very quick question. Okay. Do you know how, like, have you heard of a withholding agent?
Have I held
Has
them?
anybody, have you heard of the term or the entity? It's
Yeah.
called a
Yes.
withholding agent. Okay, that being said, when you have a large amount of credits, I've heard that I'm at the stage where I got a lot of money up there in that withholding agent.
Do you know
You
how to
know,
create your own withholding agent EIN?
I've already, I don't, well, I've made it withholding agent up in EIN on the IRS site, unless you're talking about putting together something else. But no, let's cut to the chase. Okay, we're at the end place now where we got moving credits up there, and a few of us are in that place because we've gone up there and let's use the 1099D, and then we take and create the security right there on the IRS website. And when you do that, you end up with showing it on your transcripts. So the next step is to go ahead and pull those credits and transfer them into your trust account, and that's where we're trying to figure out the best way to do that, because it's something that's done in business. I'm
I've
sure
heard.
every day.
I have a couple people actually going through that process right now that I'm working with through this process.
Oh, really?
hmm
Are you using the post office to do that? Because I've heard the post office we're talking about is the way to do that, but I
Yeah,
haven't,
the
I haven't
postal
got anything.
service. It's the postal service you're using.
You know what? We have to have good rapport with the postal service, right? Because a lot of these clerks ain't gonna know anything. So it will be up to us to try to make an
Well,
appointment with the postmaster and sit
well,
down with the
here's the thing.
postmaster, or
Yeah.
write a letter from your executive office. Write a letter
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's
Yeah,
the
that's
thing.
what
You
I've
get your.
heard.
You
and
set
Go ahead. Go
introduce
ahead.
yourself to who you are within that post office,
You're gonna do that
Mm-hmm.
whenever you get your PO box. You have to turn
right?
in an application, and it has to be signed by the postmaster. So
The postmaster, huh? Okay.
you go and meet with the postmaster, get your keys to your PO box, and that's when you do your introduction. Now they don't know anything. You're right. They don't. They truly, truly don't. They're not just keeping this from us, guys. They don't know. It's just like Chancery Court and equity. It's they don't know.
Yeah, well, I've heard basically that the postmaster general has the authority to call troops in during the time of
They
war.
are
Oh
they're
yeah,
who's
yeah,
running
of
it.
course, yes, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
But
Postmaster General actually has more. The Postmaster General is over his jurisdiction and his powers are over the court's powers. So,
Exactly.
you know, that's how a private moves, is with the postmaster general. If you needed to subpoena them, that's what you would do, and they would come and represent you in court.
Make
And the
sure that the
postmaster
postmaster that you people are dealing with is a postmaster who has taken the fourth oath.
Fourth oath. Okay.
Okay, can you
Yes.
elaborate on that to me? Because I don't know nothing about that.
It's I'm not sure exactly what the fourth oath is, but you can punch in Google for your area for a postmaster who has taken the fourth oath. Mine
Okay,
is
is it
at
the
the
fourth oath under the Republic?
yes,
Okay, so fourth oath under
and
the
mine
Republic.
is
Okay,
at Tampa International Airport.
okay, I understand now. Okay, thank you.
have you guys heard of EPS accounts?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. So I've done a little research on that. I still got to pull back my Telegram chat on that, but there's supposed to be a way where you got to fill in an application. You got to be very careful how you do that application. You can't staple it or, eat paperclip. You got to use postal notes or something and put it on the application and blah blah blah. But the point is, they make trusts in there. You can make trusts.
Yeah, it's Wells Fargo Trust.
I don't trust Wells Fargo.
I can tell you how you're
Okay.
gonna fund it. I can tell you how you're gonna set it up. I can give you step by
Oh,
steps on all of it.
I've got a Wells Fargo trust, believe it or not. That's the only one that I trust out of
That's
it
how I
as far
established
as
my
goes.
box.
Wow. So, and they're supposed to have a system where they take, and it's electronic system with
It's
Wells
called call
Fargo connected
service.
directly. Yeah, directed straight up to the GPS account and stuff. Whoa. Do you have could you send me your I followed you, Starseed. Can you send me your Telegram channel or something like
Yeah.
that? Or please
Hey,
do that.
everybody, thanks for letting me drop in. I gotta drop out and do something, but
Yeah. Send
yeah,
your
thanks.
contact
Have a
information
wonderful
in
one.
Telegram. Have a good
Yeah.
one.
Again, thanks for letting me chime in.
Thank you for the information.
Okay, you're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What did
I
you
can
say?
tell
What
that
did you
a lot
say,
of people.
Starcy? Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I can
I was
tell
just
that a
going to
lot
ask
of
real
people
quick.
in this live. I'm sorry again.
You're okay.
Are
You're
quite
okay.
advanced in your process, but there's one thing that the system needs to access you. Does anyone know what that is?
You said there's one thing the system needs to access you.
Yes,
The
to
publication.
utilize your name.
Your
So if you
signature.
trademark your name, if you
No.
trademark and service mark your name, the system can no longer utilize you.
Oh yeah. I've got that on my state, but it was very expensive because I've got an application, but they want $250 at the GPTO. But I found out there's another place called Copyright Station, I
No,
think it's
do it.
called. Yeah.
I wouldn't do it there. I would go ahead and spend the money through the USPTO and do it that way. The problem is, state-wise, in the state, you're going to be able to get it within a few weeks. Federally, it's going to take 18 months, a year to 18 months.
Correct.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, y'all, I
when
got
you
a
get
question
it
for
in,
you.
I'm sorry, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead, guys. Y'all go ahead.
Whenever you get it in your state, that gives you the first level of protection.
Protection bit.
And then
Right.
you're going to go through once you do it federally, it's in all 50 states. Then they can no longer utilize your intellectual property without your express written permission. And then if they do, and it ends up in a court, that removes judicial immunity. So you can sue the court and all actors in that court in their personal capacity for
Correct.
I have
trademark
checked on.
infringement.
I've
Correct.
checked on that per se as far as the legality of such, but even though, I mean, that is what the general, we've been hearing that for a while, and, some of people have been able to follow through, but as far as the legality of it, standing up in court though, and them not being able to use your intellectual quote unquote property, I'm not so sure that that's, totally accurate in its execution,
It
because
most
I was
certainly
checking on
is.
that.
Because
No,
what you
I
do
know
is
what
you
you're
go in
saying,
there, you go in there and ask them, where's the contract that I've given you the right to utilize my intellectual property for gain? When they can't
Yeah.
produce it, then the judge is going to enter into the case on your behalf because you are the owner of that intellectual property, and
Yeah,
they have utilized it.
yeah, they can't use your name when you're in a court proceeding if your name is trademarked.
Exactly. That's the
guess
process
what?
I'm going through at the moment.
When they send you a presentment or a summons, what does it have on it? Your name.
Yeah. Well, look, there's a whole lot to talk about in terms of what, that kind of stuff for sure. But have you guys done your stuff for as far as your 2848 and 8821 and power of attorney with the IRS and stuff like that?
I actually just sent mine in not that long ago for the 2848.
Okay. They say that the 8821 has more oomph, from what I understand. That's been just what's come out, because originally it was the 2848 and the 8821, but the 8821 is the one that you can send in and actually have, because they say what you want to do is have a CAF number, because if you don't have a CAF number and you start doing all these things, a lot of these corporations can come back on you.
Yeah, you have to have a CAF number, but that's just for identification purposes, really. That it's just because you're the only one with that particular CAF number, and then you get a PIN number as well, and the PIN number is just to designate who you are in their system.
Yeah.
The 2848 is just the power of attorney, so that way you can administer the taxes on your name.
Yep. So we all got
And
trust and all
also,
that
too,
kind
I
of
don't
stuff.
know if you guys know about it, but you can look into getting a TWIC card, TWIC card, which whenever if you have to enter into the court, that puts you on the same in the same level with the judge.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting.
And you wear it on a lanyard when you enter the court, and they'll understand exactly what's going on.
Wow.
And you can also use that as your identification as well. You know how people talk about,
Yes.
having their private license or, their own private ID. That TWIC card can be used for identification. So if
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
find
If you're
yourself in
pulled
a
over on the side of the road,
yeah,
you can show
I
it
was
to
gonna
the
say
officer.
right. Now,
Yeah.
the other piece to that, that I've come across is if we are still holding a contract, a license,
Yeah,
if
any
you have a
license.
license plate, if you have a license plate still on your car, or you still have a license, even if it's what's the word when it expires, even if it's expired, you're still, in that kind of
Under
contractual situation
agreement,
where
yeah.
their jurisdiction, they can still try to,
Yeah, you gotta revocate it.
talk to you as if you're in their jurisdiction. So even if you have that TWIC card, but you're still in their system as being listed as having a license plate or a actual license card in your wallet.
So far from what I've heard is the only way to do that is to get yourself in the USMOI. If you still have
What's
a
that?
license or an ID. USMOI is the United States Minor Outlying Islands.
Put you
Trust
on the
waters,
land outside of
baby.
the U.S. jurisdiction.
Trust waters,
Oh,
baby.
yeah.
Tell him, Glenn. Tell him, Glenn.
I'm still in my journey, brother. I'm going to be going through a process. I'm going to be filing a 4506T transcript for the IRS back since when I was 18 to get all the accounts that have been created under my name, and then I'm going to fill out a 90-page document. I'm going to submit that to the postmaster to go out and to settle all of the accounts that are there and liquidate all of the assets that have been created.
You can do that just by giving up the SS. Well, you don't necessarily give it up. You change it from a open account and put it into an exemption account, which is your SS with no dashes.
So what
That's
did you say
interesting.
that form is? What did you say the form is that you were doing
40.
with the IRS? The 45?
The
Oh,
T. It's it's your transcript. It's basically what they call the master
Master
your
file.
master account. Yeah, your master file.
Okay.
Transcript.
Okay.
And it's going to be
Okay.
from your age of 18 till present. And they'll go back and they'll send you
4506,
all
is
of
that?
that information. Yeah, 4506T. T as in
I got it.
Terry.
I'm recording this just
It
to
costs
let everybody know
it
here.
costs $144 for that transcript.
It sounds like a Newman.
I
almost
also,
like
I
a-
also
A
heard
Numinant report.
Yeah.
A Numinant report.
I also heard too that if you're in a court proceeding, you can mail the judge a letter saying that you would request that particular document, and then that'll give the judge notice that you know what she knows and what they know, that they know, or that you know that they know that you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Tongue
Remember,
twister.
in court
Grand Rising. Can I ask a quick
everything-
question? I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Apologies. I'm so sorry. Good morning, everyone. You mentioned M child the PIN number. Are you talking about the IP PIN when
Yes.
you regarding the
Yes.
CAF number, the IP
Yes,
PIN?
correct.
Okay, thanks.
Correct.
Perfect.
That IP PIN is what designates you as you in the IRS system, along with your
Well, you can
CAF
also,
number.
with that, if you get that, you can also go ahead and there's a TDS that you can go ahead and do with your entity, quote unquote, and then you can look at your estate transcripts, from what I understand as well. That part of it.
All that is just to keep you. It identifies you as you.
Well, it also grants you the power of attorney for your stuff too, as well. With that.
Well, the 2848 is that too.
Yep.
Also, about the TWIC card and kind of like with the whole license situation. What if you have like a commercial license? How do you get around that?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. First of all, are you still operating in that capacity?
I wasn't. I have like my class A. I used to drive trucks with my ex. So no, I'm not currently. So
Are you planning on in the future?
I mean, it is something to have. I mean, I think it's a really good asset to have. So I'm not. I don't really know. I can't right now because I have a 3-year-old daughter. So,
All right, so here's what I would say. If you're planning on driving for commercial purposes, then keep it, because it's a commercial license and it's a driver's license. That's what a driver's license is about. So if you're doing it for a living, or you want to make some money and you want to drive to make some money or whatever, then go for it. But when it comes to your personal conveyance, where you're just going from point A to point B, don't ever present that.
Yeah,
Well,
because the way the
thing is
statute
that-
reads,
so,
the way the statute
Mhm.
reads, if you're driving in commerce, then you need to be registered and licensed. But if you're just driving along on the highway as a traveler, then no, you don't want to show your you don't need license registration.
You can use your passport if you're just traveling.
Yeah, you can use a
so would
passport.
you recommend like
can
a
use
like
an
a like a
international.
passport card?
Yes. Well,
No.
what I would recommend is if you go get your passport, get the book and the card, and then if you go get the you get the document that's the 08 FAM. It's a manual. It'll explain what the proper endorsements to put on the 2811 or the 211 form, or whatever form that's called. I forget the name of it all the time. Yeah, I think it's
There's a website you can go to. It's called Copper Moonshine.
211 Moon.
Like that.
Yeah, is
And,
it?
they have a basic way up there to fill out what you need to fill out too, because it's around your address and being a foreign person that you want to do it. So
The
the
main
idea is
thing,
to get
the main thing
started.
with getting the best type of passport is not to say you're a U.S. citizen. You never check those boxes, because if you check those boxes, then they're gonna put you as a U.S. citizen. So if you present your passport when you get pulled over, you're still a U.S. citizen and you're gonna get a ticket. But if you're if you check everything the way the way you're supposed to as not being a U.S. citizen, and your parents are not U.S. citizens either, so you don't check those boxes as they're U.S. citizens. Because if you check your parents, when it has you list your parents on there, when you check them as a U.S. citizen, they will deem you as a U.S. citizen. So you want to make sure that you never check the box, I am a U.S. citizen, or my parents are U.S. citizen, because then that keeps you in the U.S. citizen category. And when you don't do that, what it does is it gives you the category as a non-citizen national, and then you get the 3, 4, or 5 star passport, which makes you, which puts you on the do not detain list. So anytime you get pulled over and you hand them that passport, when they go and run your passport, it'll say do not detain, do not move, and then they'll come back and tell you have a good day.
Guess what else puts you on the do not detain, Moon?
Could you repeat that
something to
form?
be very aware.
A federal
There's
service
something to be
mark and
very-
trademark puts you on the do not detain list also.
True. Yeah, that's correct. What was
be
what
careful.
was
You said
that?
trademark and
One
service?
reason-
Yeah,
careful.
trademark
Yeah.
slash
One thing I wanna
service
say.
mark.
Okay,
is
thank
that
you.
if you do this, if you go through this stuff, be careful of it, because if you're getting any kind of benefits from the federal government, you may not be able to do so afterwards. And I believe this holds true for student loans, as far as that goes, not being able to,
Could you
not claiming
could you
that
repeat
stuff.
that form for the endorsement on the passport?
It's 08FAM. It's foreign something manual. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Foreign alien manual, I believe it is, or yeah. If you do the process right, you're going to have to go back with the police department and the fire department and do a new contract with them to receive protection from them if you removed yourself properly, and you can do that.
Yeah,
Speaking
so
of fire
consider your
department
options.
excuse
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Go
Fire
ahead.
department,
Go ahead.
police department, EMS. You'll have to go back and do a contract
Recontract.
with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, to be able to get their services if you wanted to be able
Yes,
to call
ma'am.
them, huh? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Had anyone else heard that is operating in equity or learning about equity, that the fire department is at a higher, let's say, jurisdictional level than the police? So if you
Yes,
had
I have.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's why they can
The,
come
the
into your
sheriff
house
is.
without a warrant.
Yeah, that's true. But the
hmm
sheriff is higher than the police.
oh yeah,
Here's it. I got a
yeah,
little
okay,
story
sheriff
to
and
tell
then
you about
police.
that. Listen to this,
It'd
guys.
be the
There's a guy named Tony, and he's very well known on the web here. You might know who I'm talking about. Little Vietnamese guy.
Yeah, I
But
follow
he's
Tony.
he was telling us the story one time where he's trying to work with a case. The judge was they were kicking back in that office and everything. So using the zip code, he
Are you
had
talking about
some
Chaplin?
Chaplain Tony, the court
No,
chaplain. Yep.
I would strongly urge watching what he says, guys.
I don't know. Some of it's real, but who knows about the rest?
I
It's
have
about everything.
personal knowledge of him scamming people, so
Oh,
I'm
really?
just
I'll be darned.
putting that out there.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry again.
No.
I was unable to find anything on that form. If you don't mind, whenever you get a chance, you could just pin it in the comment. Or
808 FAM FAM
And did you say
505. Yes.
808?
You could just do 1-8, just an 8, and then FAM F. Let me see if I can do that. Hold on, because I'm jumping in and out, but I don't want to get dropped off.
I heard 08
Yeah, I'm
FAM.
done. That's what I thought, and then I thought he said 808 after this next time. But I was the same way. Like you taking notes, so you going out the screen, and you trying to hurry, scuttle back to the live, so you don't get dropped off the panel.
I put it in the comments. You can find it that way.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Got it.
Yes.
If you guys don't have it already, you might want to get Telegram and look up there, because there are very knowledgeable people up there with
And
all of
that's
this
why I
process like
plugged.
that.
That's why I plugged my Telegram group, because I have it in there.
And Moonchild, you dropped it in the comments already?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll go back up and look for it.
Oh, there it is. I see it. Yeah. Okay.
Whose comment is it in between? So I'll kind of know I'm in the area.
Lioness Street, 111 is one.
It's right in between DMX, Turf, my comment, and then 95.
Okay, I gotta keep going with this.
So, Starseed, could we get back to your EPS stuff, if that's possible? A little bit? Talk about more about that?
Sure. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
I
no
don't really
problem.
get
No
all.
problem.
I don't really do all the forums and all the crazy stuff that everybody's talking about. So
Yeah. Who's got the stuff in the background, the TV in the background?
I just muted it.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So,
I apologize. It might have been me. Sorry.
It's okay.
oh, no problem. But about the initiation of that EPS account, I heard there's something about a red door and a yellow door. Have you ever heard that in the back of the post office?
I've heard that. I don't know how legit it is.
But also that you're limited in how much you can pull out, and they only, when you get it, it's like you make a withdrawal that it only comes out, you're only limited to actually getting a cashier's check or something to that effect as far as it goes. But I don't know how true that is, because, I've also read the document that shows about that Wells Fargo transfer between trusts and stuff like that.
Well, you can actually do an ACH transfer directly to your bank account.
Okay, right. That would make perfect sense. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
So,
What benefits would you say that having it there, quote unquote, that the money orders are backed by gold and silver, as many
well,
of
there's
us were
that.
saying?
There's the fact that you no longer are on you pull yourself out of the jurisdiction of the corporation because you are on land. Having that
Right.
PO box makes a huge difference because you change your address like on
Yeah.
all levels, and you're pulling yourself out of the jurisdiction of that, like I said, that corporation.
Right. That's one contract with the USPS, quote unquote, that you.
I mean, not to
It's
mention they
also.
were our first bank, and who runs the world?
Mm,
I mean,
Girls? No, I'm just kidding.
right.
I'm just kidding. Sorry.
I'm
Everything
I
under the
digress.
understanding that
at
when
the
I
post
complete my
office.
process, I'll be going to the post office every week to pick up a $10,000 money order. Would it be
Yeah,
it'll be
everything.
the redisbursement of the funds that the postmaster has gone and liquidated.
Everything starts and ends at the post office.
Absolutely.
mm,
Exactly.
Including when you were born, they had to send that stuff through the post office, like your birth certificate, when it got sent to the registrar, so the registrar can send it to probate after your placenta and your umbilical cord dies off, and then they have to send it to the court, all that stuff. So yes,
Look,
Starseed
you
is
have to register
on
a
point.
publication. Whenever you set up this account, you're supposed to register a publication, and I'm about 100% sure at this point. Not really. I'm like 95% that's
what kind
your.
of publication are you
Well,
talking
that's
about?
what I was
Like
getting at. I
oh,
think
I'm
your
sorry. Forgive me.
I think your publication is your birth certificate. You're going to put it
in the newspaper.
In the newspaper,
Yeah.
like your trust.
Yeah, publication equals perfection.
So you're making a notice
So
for
you
affidavit, quote unquote, basically. Huh.
so
Okay.
you're putting a picture of the birth certificate in the ad
No,
that
no,
you're
no.
running?
This is when they announce
You're
Okay.
doing, so you do a certificate of ownership,
Okay, the certificate of ownership. Okay.
and then you're gonna put your you're gonna do your publication, but you're not gonna put your birth certificate, but like how they put it in the paper. Oh, Billy Bob was born, blah blah blah. Like you're publicating.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
certificate
So
of
like
live
what
birth.
Yeah, basically a
I
birth
was gonna say,
announcement.
right, that's what I was gonna say. Just like a father makes the birth announcement before the child is 5, before
That's
the
Right.
boy or girl is 5. Uh-huh.
And the obituary.
Or
And then
I
you use
guess
the
it can,
affidavit of
obviously it can be
publication
done.
to as proof that you publicated.
And that's what you record at the
Right. Yes.
recorder's office. Okay.
Glenn, do you have a
So
telegram
I'm
as
sorry,
well? I'm sorry, forgive me.
certificated security. So is that how basically if you were to do like a conveyance for your certificated security, your birth certificate, is that like the same thing? Or would you still have to take that and then publish it?
I think you would still have to publish it because you're doing
Yeah, the
Okay.
certificate. Yeah.
you're doing a certificate of ownership. So you're certifying that you are the owner, that you are the beneficiary. From the
Okay.
way
So
I'm,
if
You
you
also just double
Mhm.
authenticate it
So
too.
if you did a certificate of security, like if you had your birth certificate and you made a conveyance with it, and let's say you put it into a living trust, like you had it conveyed into a living trust, and you had it recorded in a state, any state, right? That would be enough? You would probably need to go and like get it publicated.
Yeah, but if you
You
don't have it
can.
double authenticated, you don't have full faith and credit. So
Yeah, you can
okay.
add with a double authenticated. You can add a grantor's acceptance to that,
But
and
I've
then you have
authenticated
it
my own.
publicated.
Wait, I'm sorry, y'all. The lingo, I'm still getting,
Hold on.
used to the wordings and the verbiage and stuff. So if I mean, I'm trying to. Okay, so authenticated is it similar to apostilled?
no,
Yes.
they're two different things.
Well, in some
The
states they don't do authentication. Like in Kentucky, we're
Right.
Commonwealth. We don't authenticate. They don't authenticate. They apostille.
Apostilled.
so I'm getting the same word too here in my state, but I just found out that it's on how you convey it to the people. Because if you're in it, so from what I understand, in my state, I found out that in 2018 they combined the thing as an apostille / authentication, but it's only for countries that are part of the Hague Convention. So if you authenticate in a non-Hague country, they should give you the authentication with the full faith and credit on the state level. Then you send it to
Yes.
the Fed level, and the Fed level will give you the full faith and credit federally. And then after that,
Wow.
you can. I also found out that you can send it to something else, which will get it authenticated
Yeah,
internationally.
you send it to the it's the Homeland Security, I believe it is.
But see, here's my thing, guys. So, okay, I get the whole full faith and credit thing, and I get all of that. But here's my thing. We are the ones producing this gold. They are collecting it. I don't need their full faith and credit stamp or whatever the hell it is because I'm producing the credit, period. So I don't know. I feel like that's just another one of those extra processes that we can authenticate ourselves and we give ourselves the credit. I don't
Yeah,
Yeah,
need
like
that
the
stamp.
you
gentleman's.
can't
I hear.
authenticate a document you didn't create.
Yeah. So they
Starkey.
created that document So that's why
So
But
they
it's
got
already
they got
authenticated because it's coming from the body
It's
that
already got
did
the
it. Like
stamp
it's
in it
already
on it.
authenticated, and
no. So
it's
it
in
has the
one of these
county.
laws. They
It has
No,
the
said
no,
we
county.
it's not
have full faith and
authenticated. It's
credit.
a certified
Yeah,
copy.
that's a certified
You
copy.
can't take a certified copy of a check to a bank and cash it, can you?
Exactly.
I don't know. I
No,
don't mess with
You
Yeah,
banks.
can't
wait,
take.
wait.
I know,
Can I
right? You
chime in?
can't do what?
Can I
you
chime in for
can't
a little
take an
bit?
authentic. You can't take a certified copy of a check to a bank and cash it.
Okay, well
Uh,
listen, how was my trust funded off of my authentication that because I don't have the full faith and credit. I have
so
not done that process.
so
So
I'm
So you're saying you funded your trust with your birth certificate?
mhm.
Okay. Well, I
I
don't know.
And I
That
also
know
may
that's what
so
I
cause
had
that
I'm
may
been.
cause an
naturalized, right?
issue. I don't know.
So my
You do
question
that
is,
through
did
the.
you just endorse it?
what was that?
Did you just endorse it? Is that all you did?
No, on the back of it, I used my fingerprint, and then I had witnesses do the same, and then I had a silver half silver dollar
For 1930.
pre 1933, and then I'm gonna do it again, but I'm gonna have this.
That's how you funded it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you funded it.
Probably
Was
that silver
that
dollar,
dollar,
that half a silver
that
dollar.
silver dollar,
But how
Yeah,
much is that
that
worth?
exactly.
silver dollar, that silver dollar
What they
Half
is
a
say?
silver dollar.
what they funded it with because it was silver.
Because they
so
say you can come in with one silver coin and shut everything down. It is, so when you say how much is it valued at, I hadn't asked that question. I just got it just rang the bell with me like, oh, what in that? And that's what I'm glad you brought that up because we don't have to talk about it at this moment, but I definitely wanted to find out how do you get the silver coins?
so
You can get them
Go
online.
to a bank.
Go to a bank. We've been going and buying them up from the banks.
Okay.
We
One
got some.
penny of lawful money will just take care of all legal money.
so
I
I'm
think a dollar, I
naturalized,
think a
right?
$1 bill does too. I think a $1 bill is the
Gotta be
one
registered.
piece of
It's got
green
to be
money that,
registered.
Silver though.
oh, okay. Okay.
Hold on.
So
I got
I'm
pictures of it.
naturalized, right? And
hmm
my birth certification is not from America, right? And I thought I had to do the apostille to get the authentication. But when I took my certification to the Secretary of State to ask them, they said no, it's already authenticated. And because I was
Right.
naturalized, my naturalization certification has a gold stamp on it, which says that gold stamp that's on that naturalization certification says it has full faith in credit already. And not only that, the Secretary of State told me that my birth certification already has the wording or the recital
Word,
saying that it has full faith in credit. So when
word,
you get
word.
that document that state that it has full
One of
faith
them.
in credit on the cover as a cover letter, you're only
Give me a
certifying
packet.
that the copy that you have
Mm-hmm.
has full faith in credit, but that doesn't say that the copy doesn't have full faith in credit, because if you get a bill, that's a certified
No.
copy you're getting, but that certified copy of the bill is
So
also
here's
authenticated and it has full faith in credit.
here's the thing. Where were you naturalized from? Because you weren't from here. If you're naturalized, you weren't from here. You weren't born here, correct?
Right, but I was born in a they said it's a part of the Hague Convention.
Okay. So,
Stop it.
but the fact that you naturalized to the U.S. is why they gave you that authentication. For people who are born in the United States of America, or who are born in the corporate states, when they get their birth certificate, it's got the stamp or it's got the signature from the registrar, then it's got the county stamp and the state stamp. But that's only a certified copy. You still have to take it to the SOS and authenticate it because you don't have the full faith and credit
But I thought
for
I had to
birth
do that
certificates here.
with my daughter, and they said
No, you
no.
don't. No, you don't. but that's because you were naturalized.
No,
And
for my
since you were
daughter. I thought I had to do it
so
for my daughter, and they said no, it's already authenticated. That's why they have a gold stamp on it.
well,
That's why they have the state seal on it.
Wayne,
so no,
Wayne, you're right because my parents were natural. They have a natural like their BC is a naturalization paper too, and there's a gold seal.
correct.
I was trying to look for it real quick because I wanted to convey it. So I was gonna look for it and actually read it because you're right. It does say the verbiage that you already, whatever you said, basically.
So
But I
when
was
you
born in
authenticate,
America, so yeah.
so when you authenticate, is your birth certificate authenticated already, or is it still just a certified copy?
Well, I'm in New York. I actually have my original birth certificate. My parents kept everything original, but I ended up getting certified copies. I'm in New York, so they make it a little hard for me.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Oh yeah.
so so I had to get it. I actually got it recorded in Illinois, which I know I have to find a way to get it, recorded here in New York. But basically, I know if you can
I gotta
record it
go,
somewhere
guys.
else.
Thank you. Bye.
Take
Bye,
it easy.
Wayne.
Thank you. Oh, wait,
Thank
wait, wait.
you.
Before anybody start talking, Star Seed, it has been lovely. I always enjoy getting to tune in to your platform. I appreciate everything that you do, all the information that you put out here for us. Thank you, everyone that did any gifting. And I appreciate all the time spent with everybody giving, putting in their input. Like we said, teamwork is gonna make this, keep this dream working. And
Absolutely.
Starseed, if you could let me down, I appreciate it, and I look forward to having an opportunity to be in everyone's company again.
Thank you for coming up. We really enjoy your company as well.
Thank you for having me. You all have a wonderful one. Life, liberty, and love to everybody.
Take care. Aw. Uh, Yeah, so I definitely got it recorded in Illinois. I'm trying to get that recorded now, the certificate, the copy in New York. But my parents, like Wayne said, they did have their. I'm gonna call it certificate security. Their certificate security looks different. There is a gold seal on it, and there's different verbiage. So it does say naturalization, but for me, it's a totally different certificated security. So
Yeah.
he does have a point, yeah. But I'm not
Authentication
sure
is
how the
all based
process
off of
is for them.
naturalization. When you authenticate, you're putting yourself back on the land too, because it's all back to naturalization. When you naturalize in your state, when you do it on the state level, you're naturalizing yourself on the land in the state that you live in. And then
Okay.
when you send it on the Fed level, it's for all 50 states. But the reason why they give you
Whenever
the full faith and credit was because that was something that they were supposed to do when they came out with the Social Security Act and the Banking Relief Act. Because remember, the birth certificate is printed on bond paper, which makes it a security.
Hmm. Okay. I mean, I
if
also
if
heard you could do
someone
something with death certificates as well. I mean, it's ridiculous, it's
really, oh
crazy.
god.
Yeah, I heard you could definitely do some. My mom transitioned about 5 years ago, and from what I was hearing in this other panel was that definitely a death certificate could be used as well
Yeah, you
to
can
be conveyed.
authenticate a death certificate.
If
Okay, so
someone was a
authenticating is
US citizen and we were going to immigrate to another country, whenever we immigrate to another country, they're going to authenticate our birth certificate. So anyone that comes here is going to have an authenticated birth certificate. That's just the way it goes.
Correct.
Okay.
And I was
Thank
explaining
you.
that in the comments too. Even though the person was from a Hague country, because he was naturalized to the U.S., that's why they gave him the authentication. Now, authentication is a very, very touchy subject because some people don't believe that you want to do that shit, but there are many benefits for it. When you finally get the Fed level, the double authentication, what it does is it acts as a foreign judgment, and you can put it in a court case, and it'll pay it'll set off and close the account, which means that the court case will go bye bye. And then also on top of that, it gives you the full faith and credit because that goes back into the acts that I mentioned a minute ago. And then you also have all rights, titles, and interests on in that certificate because it's basically like a warehouse receipt for you, your body. That's what they made out of you once your placenta and your umbilical cord died. So now you are the beneficial owner because what everybody always says this. Why would I authenticate something that I didn't create? Well, you're authenticating it so that way you can become the beneficial owner. When you have beneficial ownership over that certificate, now you have all rights, titles, and interests on that name because that's what it is. It's just a certificate for your name, your all caps name, your NZGIS. And now you can use that. Now that name has full faith and credit, and then you can use it on certain things. Holder in due course.
You
Exactly.
become holder in due course. Exactly. With a superior title.
And now any other certificate. Now it has to be the COLB though. It can't be the regular birth certificate. You can go get the regular birth certificate authenticated, but the COLB is where you get all this stuff because that's your certificate of live birth. That means you have a live birth. And a lot of
One more question to everyone. With the thumbprint, that red ink thumbprint, that infamous red ink thumbprint. And Elena, like, I think I'm gonna use that method too, because I think that was like the original way to do it. But I think the last live Elena had, I kind of introduced, or I didn't introduce it. I'm sure everybody else knew, but I just wanted to put it out there about the family crest. Like I was told that I have the option to just put in a family crest as opposed to the thumbprint. Any ideas or thoughts on that?
They
I
say
heard
that
that
if you want to
red
do a
sig-
crest or something like that, it's best to do that under a trust or within your trust.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm also
say the red
hearing
thumbprint is,
contradictive opinions on the color. I'm hearing that it should be your thumbprint should be in blue.
No, only when you're working.
Wow. I heard the same
Only
thing,
when
blue
you're
or red.
dealing in
Like,
admiralty. So blue is admiralty, black is dead, and red is living, and then purple is royalty or I can't remember what else. It is,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, royalty.
They say
Royalty.
the red signature is the highest signature, most authentic that you can do.
yeah, it's the same as the red thumbprint. It signifies the same color as blood, and since it
Yeah, this is
signifies
the
that,
thumbprint
it
at 45
signifies
degrees.
yeah, it signifies living man or woman.
what is the blue? What's the blue signify again?
Blue is
The blue,
admiralty or commerce.
Okay. Oh, okay. Because there was a situation where I kind of someone was trying to talk to me about creating the bonds, and they were like, you have to put a blue thumbprint on your name. So I guess that's for the commerce because it was like a bond or whatever the case may be. That would make
'cause
sense.
it's a commercial product or a commercial paper that's being used. Everything in commerce is fiction. So when you do the thumbprint, what I would do is I would sign in blue and then use a red thumbprint because now that's your seal. That's your seal. This is why some people don't go after their family seal. They'll just use your thumbprint because that is your seal. Nobody else can take that mark. That's your mark.
Right. Perfect. Thank you.
And Jack Spade, I seen your comment. Yeah, I'm sure the Treasury is gonna tell you that the birth certificate has no monetary value, but if you go and use them QSIP numbers that are printed on your birth certificate, you'll find that they are being traded on. And if they're being traded on, then that means they have monetary value. It's a security.
Where do you see that QSIP number printed on the birth certificate?
On your social security number and on your birth certificate, there's a little red number, usually on the
back.
usually on the bottom.
Oh, on the
That red
bottom.
number would be your KeySIP number, and then you can search that up, and it'll bring up.
Yeah, I'm
where-
aware. I'm aware. I haven't heard that it's actually on the cards as far as it goes. The only number I've seen on it is on the back.
And then I've never seen I have my COLB, and I've never seen a red number on the back. That's usually on the social security card.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And then there's a specific USC code or a CFR code that says that any card, plate, or a coupon is considered a credit card. So if you have, guess what? With the Social Security Administration Act, it states that that's what they gave you the account number for, because the Social Security number is an account number. It's 9 digits.
Right.
How many digits is in the EIN? 9 digits. So
No, I'm with you on that, but the thing you got to be careful. Like we learned that 15 years ago, and actually made a deposit with St. Joseph's Children's Hospital for $50 just to test it out. But that's as far as it goes, because you got to be in a private established to use
no,
that
you can't deposit it into anywhere else but the Treasury. And then when you deposit it into the Treasury, you have to put the proper endorsements on it. Everything is tied within banking, law, and fuck, I'm having a brain fart. Sorry, I've been up since 4 yesterday. You can't cash out the birth certificate. Please understand this, y'all. This is for the comments. You cannot cash out a birth certificate. The birth certificate is a security. A security does not get cashed out.
people go to jail for whatever they want.
It would be sent to the treasury for special
It's like a
deposit.
negotiable instrument you can make out of it.
It's a negotiable instrument.
So you can use it
when
as a negotiable instrument. Right.
Yes. So what you do is you put the proper banking endorsements on it, and then you go and deposit it into the treasury. The treasury is going to tell you that it's not worth anything because this stuff is hidden. You know how much money they make on people making taxes? Why are they gonna tell you how to get out from paying taxes? How are they gonna tell you how to get out of the system? Why would they tell you to get out of the system when they make more money with you in the system?
When you send it in, the certificate is secure, like as a negotiable instrument to the treasury. Don't you kind of like basically you have to let them know that like you know what the game is. Let them know
No,
the like the codes, like
you would
basically a
just send them
letter.
a Form 56 to Janet Yellen.
Right.
And then she's now
Right.
the fiduciary for that. So then you send that in with the proper endorsement on it, and you say deposit this in with your records, and then you would tell her what you want her to do with it. Like this is to pay my bills indefinitely. The birth certificate is a security. It has security interest. Security interest never founders are false.
Have you ever set up any 1099Bs or anything so far from the shop?
No, I haven't done any of those 1099Bs yet because I'm still in the process of establishing myself. So I'm putting myself in the executor office. I have my executor office set up and ready to go, but I'm also in the middle of a case, so I have to get all that taken care of first before I can do anything else. And then, like I said, my state, I'm in Colorado, and my state likes to obfuscate from everything. They like to hide the shit. They don't like to admit the shit. So, for example, with the whole authentication process, they try to hide it with they changed the law saying that they do the apostille and the authentication in one thing. But when you read the freaking thing, it says as of 2018, the apostille / authentication is one document for anybody participating in a hate country. And if you don't catch that last part,
and you just go and ask them to authenticate it, they're gonna give you an apostille, and then they're gonna tell you some bullshit like, oh well, it's the same thing. We don't give out some documents, but you have to be. Everything is an oral test. Everything you do in this outside space, which is the public, is an oral test. If you do not know what you're saying, if you do not know what you're talking about, and they know you don't know what you're talking about, they're just gonna give you some bullshit because they just want to push you along because they have people in the line, or because they don't want to sit there and argue with you.
Have you got the QSIT number for your case yet?
I have.
Oh, sweet. Okay. All right.
I filled out some 3949As, and I've also done some 211s, but I haven't sent them in yet because I needed at the time I needed to do my 2848, so that way I can have the authority to send those in.
Yeah, I got you. Oh, good luck to you.
Like, mainly what I've been doing is I just been studying, so that way because I'm not the type of person to just throw shit at the wall and hope it sticks. And you can ask Glenn, he's seen me start in this space on TikTok for a long time now, and I'm not the type to sit there and just throw shit at the wall to make it stick. If I'm gonna execute something, I want to make sure that I execute it right and properly.
They say there's one step as far as it goes with the court stuff, like creating an affidavit of truth and filing it with the county and also the clerk and court. And,
I literally had to draft up an affidavit of attorney in fact and sui juris because before I got into this space, I was kind of just doing it as a hobby, learning this stuff as a hobby, so I wasn't fully in it. And then when I caught my case, I started looking into how statutes apply to us, and I found out all the truth about that. And then I went and dove in head first into this whole space, and I just started soaking up knowledge. Like, who you hear now, right now, the Moonchild you hear now is not who I was literally like a year ago, 2-3 years ago.
Exactly. His comprehension of knowledge is pretty awesome.
I'm a June baby, so I kind of just soak up information like a sponge, and then I tend to get obsessive and try to overstand. I try to overstand it enough or ultrastand it enough to where you can't rebut me because I know what I'm talking about. The best thing everybody can do, the best IOU you can give yourself is to understand, to overstand, and then ultrastand.
It really helps to have platforms like this to help you along the way. Seriously, for those of you who did it on your own, oh my God, like salute. Props to all of you, but this is heaven sent. Thank you, Elena. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be as far as I was if it wasn't for this space. This space did help everybody. I appreciate everybody that I met along the way, like Glenn and other people. I just met Starseed not that long ago, so this is my first time in her live. I appreciate coming up. But yeah, I mean, I've been in this space for a little bit. I've been coming in and out of people's lives, just basically just trying to learn, bro. Like, once you learn who you are and you realize that, you know what I mean, that you can, the sky's the limit, literally. I mean, once you learn who you are, you know the sky's the limit, and you can do anything and figure out anything as long as you don't violate natural law. And natural law is God's law. So that's the funny thing about that is because I've noticed that and I'm not trying to get into no religion or anything like that, but people need to understand that law is based off of the Bible.
And then in 1982, they declared that the Bible was law of the land. Public Law 97-280. Look it up. Reagan declared the Bible was law of the land in 1982, which then went into inaction in 1983. So literally all law stems from the Bible. Now you can read the Bible on a spiritual aspect and catch the supernatural stuff that happened within the stories and get that part of it. But you can also grab a law dictionary and read the Bible with the law dictionary, whether it be a Black's Law or a Bouvier's. I would say Bouvier's, 1856. And you'll see that the Bible is really banking instructions before leaving your estate.
Valentine's is good for that also, Moon.
Yep. Man, this Jack Spade is just stuck on the no value for the BP.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to get out because I'm getting my daughter ready for school. But thank you for this platform. Thank you to all y'all. Thank you for the information, regardless of race, creed, gender, preference. We all in here in the spirit of trying to get this sovereignty and get out of this like slave system, this corporation. So I thank you all, and hopefully we can see each other again or speak to each other again. Thank you, Elena Starseed. I'm going to message you soon. All right,
Thank
y'all.
you.
Take care.
I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here too. I've got a busy morning, but I will be back on later.
I appreciate you.
Thank you guys for coming up and talking, sharing your knowledge. I appreciate all of you guys.
Absolutely. Have a blessed day. Bye, love everybody. Thank you.
You too.